and it's day one and you walking in there on the first day, man, you in there, man. But you feel something. It's right in here, man. And it's screaming, and it's yelling, and it's saying, release me. And it's saying, I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Hey, y'all, when you get back, kick some butt, and I'll see you in the winner's circle celebrating your victory. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! You got this! You got this! You got this! Thank everybody.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to week 229 consecutively of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got checking in, man. We got Mona Obermolak in the building. We got down in Orlando. We got she says greetings to myself and the queen, my wife. Michael Benton is out here checking in from Cincinnati. Constance Chenard is in Pearl, Mississippi. We got Dr. Rachel Edo Eckett down in Maryland. Where we at? We got Mia Lange. Where's she at? Where's she at? Yules, Texas. Renee Graham, Montclair, New Jersey. That's homie. We got Rodney Richardson, Hampton, Virginia. Takesha High is in Virginia. Where we at? Marsha Poe is in San Diego from the soccer field sidelines. That's dedication. Marsha, I'm going to try to make it my business to reach out to you because I need to do that. I appreciate that dedication, though. Early in the morning, San Diego, you on the sidelines, man, still checking in. LaKenya Rowland is also from New Jersey. Appreciate you. Dr. Rella Hicks is in Augusta, Georgia. Stacy Joy is in LA. I hope them temperatures went down. I've been out here in Aruba with these blazing temperatures and haven't been checking the weather around America. But hopefully that heat wave is behind you. Lysandra Brackens is in North Carolina. Chancellor Davis is in Vegas. Same thing with you with that weather, sir. Dr. Demetrius Scott, my brother, hanging out there with Dr. Salome Thomas L. the other day. Ronald Pugh is in Cedar Hill, Texas. Akimo Dawson, Hinesville, Georgia. John Hirricks is in Denton, Texas. Gaul Farr WT is down there in Atlanta. I'll be in Atlanta for the NAPSE conference, Gaul Farr. That's National Alliance of Black School Educators. I think I'll be there November 21 or something like that, but it's November. I'll be there. ATL, National Alliance of Black School Educators. Go to NABSE.org, NABSE.org. And you'll see the conference. Register and look forward to shaking your hand. Dot McKeever Jeter, Principal Dot McKeever Jeter is in Calumet City, Illinois. Jacqueline Harriet is in Nova Scotia. Stacy Ann Barrett, New Orleans. Scott Wiley is in the building, Chester, VA. Arlette Johnson is in Connecticut, 2023 Connecticut AP of the year. Where we at? Solomon Bezue Jr. is in the building. AP Patrick Lawrence is in the building. Annette Mack, I see you. Thank you for that. Kimberly Broughton Kafele, the queen of the whole island, is in the building. Man, I wanted to do this thing outdoors, man, and get that whole vibe. But I said, man, that Wi-Fi might be weak out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't mind the music and the, all that would have worked with the vibe. But I was just concerned about the Wi-Fi. I use my phone out there all day, and it's good, but it may be different with the computer. So anyway, Dr. Sonia Matthews, I'm getting ready to shut this portion down so we can get to it. Ricardo Giannis, I see you, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. Linda Carter. I don't know if that's the Linda Carter from Newark or not, but whichever Linda Carter it is, good to see you. Let's see. I'm going to shut it down with my man. There's Vincent Stallings. The Good Doctor, man. Them some good videos you put up yesterday, sir. Morehouse College down in East Orange, up in East Orange, New Jersey, at East Orange STEM Academy under the leadership of Dr. Vincent Stallings. They visit there every year before the big football classic, which is today. So good stuff, good stuff. I'll share it later on. Hey y'all, let me close out and say to everybody, y'all know I ain't gonna get loud in here. There's echo in this room. There's other conferences going on in the or sessions in other rooms. So we're gonna keep this mellow in here. When I say good morning, ooh, that don't feel right at all. Greetings. Welcome to week 229 of the AP and New Principles Academy. And let me tell y'all, man, I ain't getting loud, man. I see you, Sean Hurt. I ain't getting loud on this, man. I just kind of shifted my chair. And I tell you, there's reason. There's a lot going on in our world, right? In our world collectively, in our individual lives. There's always stuff going on, right? But I try to still keep them flames raging, despite whatever. And I'm certainly on fire now. We lost some heavyweights, right? We lost first we lose James Earl Jones, right? And then if that wasn't bad enough, then we find out that the great Frankie Beverly, they both make their transitions. So I posted about both of them. Glad I was at the concert, Frankie's last concert, which was in Philly, his hometown. But that kind of stuff. And other things, the debate the other day, a lot went on. And then in our own individual lives, I ain't going to get into the debate because I don't like to bring politics to this. So I'll just leave it as the debate. Right. So, so just a lot of stuff going on. But despite that, I'm still on fire. Right. And I can't yell that in this hotel. There's a lot of people. I'm in a breakout session room, and it's a lot of breakout session rooms being occupied, people setting up. So I don't want people coming in here like, you gotta bring it down. So we're gonna keep it mellow today. But I'm blazing, y'all. I'm blazing. I'm on fire. It's my last full day here in Aruba, and then I fly on back tomorrow and get back on the road, doing this work that I love so much. So welcome again. Live from the island of Aruba. Welcome to the first timers. But I got to tell you, first timers, if this is in fact your first time, I want you to know that you've missed 228 sessions of some dynamite content, right? Dynamite content. And it's not just me, it's four of us. It's 4 sessions. It's Sean Hurt at 10 o'clock. This is all Facebook Live, all this free content. Followed by Create and Educate at 10:30. Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, myself at 10:55, not 11, but 10:55 because I do the shout outs. And then on Sunday, we go to 7 o'clock on Sunday night. These are all Eastern times with Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno with the PDP podcast. So, all this is just free content, all leadership content. You don't want to miss this. So if you're new to us, you want to stay true to us, right? You want to make sure that you tune in every week, but you can also go to YouTube and hear me well on this. Go to my YouTube channel. All of us have a YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. I'm going to say it again. Subscribe. Let me hit it one more time. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, AP and New Principles Academy. Make sure you subscribe. In fact, let's put it right on the screen. Make sure that you subscribe to the AP and New Principles Academy YouTube channel and then binge watch everything that you missed. There's a whole lot of stuff. I keep saying it. It's a lot of people that say to me, they say, Kafele, grad school don't measure up to that AP Academy. And I just say, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So, I just don't give the exams. I wish there was a way that I could give credits, but it's no way to do it. If I come up with a way, trust me, we're gonna convert a little bit, so maybe I put that in the atmosphere and somebody gonna drop some knowledge on me that I could use. Next, for those that don't know, we're back on Facebook, we're back on Twitter, we're back on LinkedIn, because I tried this grand experiment to be exclusively YouTube but that was going to take me too long to get the thousands of people who already watch us on Facebook, right? Last week's session had, I think it was 7,000 viewers, and this week's last week and the week before was around 7,000. So I said, man, them people are locked into Facebook, so we're not going to do that. We'll just give YouTube as another option, and that's the archive for everything as well. Moving on, my books, I didn't bring any with me, but you know my book, The Assistant Principal 50, is the staple for this. The Assistant Principal 50, the Assistant Principal Identity, which is my newest, the Aspiring Principal 50, the Principal 50, and Is My School a Better School Because I Lead It? Make sure that you get yourself a copy, right? Make sure you get yourself a copy. Those are important books to coincide with this broadcast, this live stream every Saturday. And then I gotta tell you about the new one, man. It's all set to go. Talked to the publisher yesterday. It's cast in stone. It's off to the printer. What is my value instructionally to the teachers I supervise? Once again, what is my value instructionally to the teachers I supervise? The cover is slamming. Best cover I've ever had. I approved it last week, and it'll be ready for pre-order in October. It'll be in the ASCD catalog as well. That's coming out in October. And then it'll be ready. You can order in December, right? So what is my value? I think think. I know it's the most important book I've ever written. I know that. And it's particularly the most important book I've ever written for leaders. I mean, think about that question. Just the question alone, I tell my audience, because I've been doing a presentation for a few months now, but just think about it. I've been doing some of the presentation. It would literally take me about 30 hours to do the entire presentation, to do all the content. It's that much in there. It's that much in there, and that's why I decided to put it in a book. But just think about the question for a second before I move on to my guest. What is my value instructionally to the teachers I supervise? So you think about the teachers that you supervise, the teachers that you lead. I'm not talking about your whole school, just the ones that are assigned to you. And I use that word supervise intentionally as opposed to mentor or lead, because I want to just bring into existence the thought of accountability, right? See the word mentor, you may not think accountability. The word lead, you may not think accountability. When we talk about supervise, these are your teachers. What is your value to their pedagogy, right? What is your value to their pedagogy? Is it there? So that's what that book is all about. So it's coming, y'all. I wrote it in May. I wrote it in 18 days. I was furious. I was just writing around the clock, man. I wasn't even sleeping. I'm like, God, where are you getting all these thoughts from, man? I mean, it was just coming. It was just coming. And I just seized it, man. I ain't go to sleep. All right, God, keep feeling me. I'm right. So anyway, that's that. Let me do my monologue real quick. And by the way, make sure that you like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. I'm back on that commentary now, right? So I did one last week. If you missed it, check it out. The Academy is not just Saturday. It's 2 days. It's Saturday broadcast, Sunday commentary, right? On the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. So make sure you like and follow that. We got 10,000 followers on it, and we got 22,500 subscribers on the channel, the YouTube channel. So I'm obviously pleased with that. The monologue real quick. I wrote this monologue or conceptualized this monologue in the spirit of 9/11, right? It's called Being Prepared, even when there's no way you could have prepared. Let me say that again. Being prepared, even when there's no way you could have prepared. What am I saying? I'm saying to you, things arise that grad school didn't prepare you for. Your thought partner didn't prepare you for. Your experiences didn't prepare you for. Your wisdom didn't prepare you for. Things just happen. Things come out of nowhere. I don't know that any of us were thinking that a 9/11 was going to happen. I was at the start of my third year. The special needs leadership team from district level was in my office, we were ready to do a walkthrough. And all of a sudden, the first tower was hit. We were notified. I had a TV in my office. All the classrooms had televisions. I turned on the television. We're looking at it in disbelief, with like wondering what's going on. We thought it was just an accident. And then lo and behold, the second tower is hit. We knew that wasn't an accident, right? So now my school's in a panic because they all have TVs in the classroom. The parents are calling them to pick the students up, pick their children up. And I got to lead that. Start of my third year. I got to lead that. I'm at a middle school in East Orange, New Jersey. I got through it, but I couldn't have anticipated. Grad school couldn't have prepared me for it. But let's keep going. I'm at a school. I'm the first year at North Tech. So first year as a high school principal, second month, the 8th of October. And a student has a heart attack in the gym and dies. I got to lead that, man. Students beloved by everybody in the building. I got to lead that, right? Nothing could have prepared me for that. This happened in the building. Nothing could have prepared me for that. Student drowned. We had a swimming pool in my middle school. Student drowned. It looked like the student died, but the EMS workers were able to bring that youngster back to life. But what could have prepared me for that? And then just the panic that happened after that, the aftermath of all of that. Gang threat. Had a gang presence in the middle school, but the OG, but the leader in the school, the father was the OG. I ain't gonna get into all that because them people are still alive, so I'm not gonna get into it. But I will say this: the leader in my building and the father is the OG. I'm gonna leave it right there. Just let your imagination run wild as to what that was. I will tell you this much. Because of the way I responded to it. Superintendent ordered me. You cannot go back to work in the building. You have to lead your school from central office. What grad school is going to prepare me for that? You got to lead your school from central office. I said, Superintendent, with all due respect, I don't punk out to nobody. I'm going to be at the school. And I led it from the school. And the rest is history. We're not going to get into the specificity because that would be kind of not smart on my part. But I will say this: grad school, conversations with people, mentors, supervisors, nothing could have prepared me for that. That I got a recruiter sitting in my 7th grade classrooms under direction from the OG in the community, right? How do you prepare for that? See, so I'm saying all that to say, to go back to my monologue title, being prepared even when there's no way you could have prepared. I'm saying, like I'm brainstorming right now. Get yourself a pad and a pen, right? And just list every possible scenario that you can imagine that could arise, good, bad, and everything in the middle. Because you'd be surprised what could arise. Right? Like the things I just told you, I don't even know that these are things we talk about. Right? So but I wrote something else. I was sitting in the lobby outside, and here's another one. Student with a gun, right? So student, I'm not talking about the student that somebody out in the world is stereotyped and said, okay, this student might be headed down the wrong path. No, I mean that student that you love, you embrace, respectful to you, not knowing that he got a gun in the book bag, loaded, because in his mind, this is the only way I could protect myself. Well, I had that kid. I had to deal with it. We had to figure that out. He's sitting in the class with a loaded weapon. Right? So I'm not going to give you all that in terms of, because them folks are still alive, right? So, but I'm going to tell you, I'm talking about being prepared even when there's no way you could have prepared, right? But check this one out, y'all. Rumors and whispers about you. Rumors and whispers about you. Now, I decided on this one, I want to remove myself from it because I don't want to give the impression there were rumors and whispers about me. If there were, I wasn't privy to them. But let's put it out there. Rumors and whispers about you. How you going to prepare for it? See, you can't prepare for the rumor because you don't know what the rumor is. You don't know what the whispers are. But you can prepare for how you're going to react to different scenarios. Because some of them rumors, some of those whispers can literally destroy not only who you are on the position you're in, but your entire career, right? So those rumors and whispers, again, let me go back to my title, being prepared even when there's no way you could have prepared. Yeah, I got to tell y'all in real time. In my mind, I'm saying, man, Kafele, this was supposed to be like a 60-second monologue. Hey, y'all, this is a freaking book. But I hadn't thought about that when I put it together, right? But now as I'm articulate, I'm like, man, this is a book here, man. Here go the title, Being Prepared, even when there's no way you could have prepared. That's the title right there. I don't know that we think about that. We thinking about the instructional leadership, the SEL, the equity, but are we thinking about some of these other issues that are real as well? I got another one for you. I said rumors and whispers about you. Check this one out. Lies told about you. Ooh, ooh. Somebody said that part, right? Ooh, right? Ooh, that's real. Lies. So forget about rumors because they don't have to be true. Whispers. The lie. This somebody just said, let me put this out there. Because once you put it out there, it has legs, it has life. How do you and I navigate that now? Right? Here, I got one more. Accusations made against you. Ooh. Ooh. Now I can go on and on, but I got 3 guests waiting in the wings, right? Right? It's so much. People they mad at you. You got a bad evaluation that you deserved a bad evaluation. Let me put a little something out there in the universe about this joker now. Let me make this accusation about him, about her. Now that thing got legs, man. They all listening. They texting, they emailing, they on the phone, they doing whatever. All right. So my point in putting it on a monologue, in what way did you anticipate that somebody could put a lie out there about you? That somebody can make an accusation against you? That somebody could create a rumor, right? Because that somebody could be putting out some little whispers about you. And I won't stereotype and generalize and give you examples of those. I think you all can do that, right? But then they're out there. What are you doing? Well, I will say this. If you find, matter of fact, I got hey, my fam in the wings, y'all hang with me for a second. I got to say this one. God said, give it to him. Listen, y'all. If you find yourself like you hanging with a teacher, like more than like anyone else in the building, like, because it's your dog outside of school. You know this person. Maybe you grew up with this person. And when I was at a school called Sojourner Truth Middle School, there was a teacher that I'd known since 5th grade. Her brother and I used to sit up in the treehouse in the afternoon in East Orange, New Jersey, and just sit there and talk all day. And so his sister was right there in the house. I knew her since 5th grade. I walked into that school in my late 30s, and there she is. I'm like, man, right? I ain't seen you in a long time. Now I knew her well, but I had to pretend I didn't know her. Then I go to North Tech. It's a teacher there that I went to undergrad school back when I had my little stint in junior college, and now here she is in the building. Well, I can't be given favoritism, hanging out with you, all that kind of thing, man. Right? Because now the staff, like, what's going on there? Right? What's happening? See, sometimes we do things mindlessly and we set ourselves up. We do it to ourselves because we're not moving correctly. So you got to make sure you move correctly. Said differently, you got to move intelligently, right? Strategically. As opposed to, well, it's my friend, but the staff don't understand that. And then you got some staff that might not like you, so going to use that against you. Or maybe it's not staff, maybe it's community, or maybe it's somebody that wanted your job, but you got the job instead of them, and now they got to figure out a way to sabotage you so that I can get an opportunity to have that job. It's so many scenarios, y'all. Guys, it's funny how I put these agendas together, and then I go live, and I'm in another place, right? Guys say, I don't like your agenda. I got something better for you. Just turn on the camera, and I got you, right? So, and that happens also with my actual agenda with my guests. I have all this stuff that they sent me, these talking points, and then I never get to them. So anyway, enough said there. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that repost button. Let them know we're here. I'm done with my monologue and intro, and I'm ready to bring up my guests. So let me get them on up here. These are, oh, by the way, my guests are fam. You know, they not just guests, they fam of the Academy. So let me get them on up here, man. They in the building. Good morning.
Good morning.
You.
Great to see you.
Good
Hey,
morning.
y'all, I'm going to read their bios. But before I get to the bios, let me just say that Yolanda McKinney that you see up there in the right-hand corner has been fam from the beginning. Been rocking with us. She should have been on here a lot sooner, but she's here now. And then Vicki Baxter been fam. She's been fam in a different sense as well as this, but she's fam with Black Educators Rock. The leadership of Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester. I've known her since the organization was created.
2016.
Yeah. And then Elliot Johnson is fam because when he was fresh out of Kane University, it was Kane, right?
That's right.
My alma mater, he came to my office looking for a job as a history teacher back in 2010.
That's right.
And I was younger. If I with grown facial hair, it would have been black, right? So it was 14 years ago. But this man so impressed me that I'm like, yo, you got the job. Let's go, right? And and here he is now, a leader and doing his thing. So I'm excited. So let me read these bios, y'all. Y'all hang with me. I want y'all to know who you got on here because we're gonna talk leadership. But these are relatively new leaders. I'm gonna tell you how many years of experience in a little while. But these are relatively new leaders. Elliot's a spanking new leader, but we'll get to that. Let me read these bios. Yolanda McKinney is a passionate, data-driven trailblazer and pioneer of excellence, known for her positive, high energy and goal-getting attitude. A certified educator for over 15 years. And I'm gonna read fast, y'all. Yolanda has served in various roles, including elementary teacher at all grade levels, SEL coach, administrator in diverse public school settings in Arkansas and Texas. She currently serves as a supervisor of clinical experiences for MSU. Most recently, Yolanda has been one of the fastest growing Yolanda has been with one of the fastest growing districts in North Texas, serving as an SEL coach for 1 year and assistant principal for 2 years. Yolanda has earned her bachelor's degree in early childhood education from the University of Arkansas in Little Rock, where she also became a member of Kappa Delta Pi, an International Honor Society in education. She balanced her studies with a full-time job in caring for her now 21-year-old son. She went on to earn her master's degree in education administration from Lamar University and is preparing to pursue her doctorate. I probably need to do a session on moms that raise children that serve in leadership, but their children still go on and do big things. That's probably another session that I need to do. Yolanda is a devoted wife to one and a mother of 4. Her children are her purpose, pride, and joy, each excelling as students from elementary through the college level. A zealous educator, she is deeply committed to her growth and to doing her best of all students because they deserve nothing less. During her years as an elementary teacher, she was honored as Teacher of the Year twice, 2014 and 19, and she was named University Interscholastic League Administrator of the Year in May of 2024. So that was recent. Give her a big round of applause. Hit her up in the chat, y'all. As a founding member of the Principal, I like this, man. As a founding member of Principal Kafele Academy, formerly known as the Virtual AP Leadership Academy, she has forged professional relationships, experienced exponential growth, and benefits from the mentorship of Principal Kafele, who continues to inspire her professional journey. I love that, man. I appreciate that, Yolanda. I appreciate it. Mrs. Vicki Baxter is a dedicated educator with nearly 3 decades of experience in the Buffalo Public School District. Her journey began as a teacher aide, leading to her role as a special educator and ultimately serving as an assistant principal for the district. She is a true Buffalonian, born and raised in Buffalo, received her elementary and high school education in Buffalo Public Schools. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree from Buffalo State College with her advanced certifications in educational leadership from, is it pronounced Canisius? Canisius College. She is continuing her education at I don't know this one either.
Duville.
Okay. College for her doctorate, educational leadership, researching cultural relevant mentorship curriculums for Black girls in high school. She probably likes the Buffalo Bills as well, right?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Education is an essential component in each one of our lives. Becoming an assistant principal is a position in which she is honored to serve, realizing her ability to lead can promote or hinder the process. She believes there are three key elements to a successful school. These are sound instructional practice, positive culture and climate, and strong family and community partnerships. Lastly, in her first year, she impacted the culture and climate with the staff, students. I want you to hear this carefully. In her first year, she impacted the culture and climate with the staff, students, and families through several initiatives. This began with listening to the concerns of the school community, making them an essential part of the process. Her approach to staff observations focused on supporting the staff instead of being harsh and critical, building upon positive care and relationships and conversations. Staff received weekly bulletins with pertinent information and inspirational videos. She established a young ladies empowerment mentorship program developed with the input and leadership of a senior student, reconnected the alumni with the school, which supports through mentorship, networking, and funding special projects, and hosted an auto and motorcycle show to showcase the school's auto, welding, and tool machining programs and increase enrollment. The school had not hosted an auto show in 12 years. The event was free to the community. Local dealerships and technical training schools were vendors seeking employees and students, and over $8,000 was donated by local businesses and partners through her efforts. I wanted you to hear that because she said in her first year. So when we say first year, we're talking about first year as an assistant principal. That's a lot done as an AP, as opposed to principal. And we're going to talk about that in the conversation as well, y'all. One more. Elliott Johnson is a professional public school educator in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Originally from Westfield, New Jersey, he currently resides in Elizabeth with his wife and fellow educator. Is it Kalina? Kalina Johnson. Their two children and their lovable dog, a boxer named Cassius. Elliott graduated with honors from Kane University with a BA in history and earned his MED at William Patterson University. He served as a history teacher for 14 years. At present, he serves as a vice principal at Johnny Dwyer Technology Academy for the Elizabeth Public Schools. In addition to his role as classroom teacher, Elliott is an ambassador of the New Jersey Amistad Commission, a statewide education law whose mission is to ensure that American and minority that school curriculums provide students with the most diverse content possible from African American and minority students. I can read to the first time the new folks here, but I'm reading so fast it seemed like I can't read, right? Elliott has led professional development workshops in his home school district and collaborated with peers to infuse the Amistad content into multiple subject areas. He also served as a representative for the Elizabeth Education Association and participated in the New Jersey Education Association Members of Color Initiative. And finally, in service to his fellow educators, Elliott seeks to impart knowledge and wisdom to all learners. He's a team player who brings camaraderie to his school and department. Lastly, his hobbies include running, reading comic books, podcasting, and supporting the New York Giants and New York Mets. I hear that. Let me tell y'all the experience, because we're talking about leadership perspectives from new assistant principal. So Yolanda, 3-year AP, 3 years as an AP, 2 in Texas, 1 in Arkansas. Vicki completed her first full year as an AP in 2023-24 last year, served a half year as an AP for the 2022-23 school year. And Elliott, here it is. He's done 5.5 months. That's it. That's all he's done. 5.5 months of an AP. So I wanted that perspective today. So if you're a principal, this is for you. I don't want you to think, okay, this AP. No. I want you to hear what these APs have to say on a variety of different topics. If you're an assistant principal, I just want you to kind of relate to what's being said. If you're an aspiring AP, I want you to hear what these APs who've got a little bit more under their belt than you do. I want you to hear what they got to say. Well, with that said, hit the share button, hit the retweet button, hit the like button. Oh my God, hit that like button, y'all. That's what gets them algorithms. That's what activates the algorithms. Even if you dislike it, just hit that like button anyway. So if you dislike it, maybe you could get a whole lot of other dislikers, and now y'all could dislike together, but you still hit that like button, right? So as the young people will say, haters will hate, right? That is not a Kafele term. I'm too old to be saying that, right? But I know the young people say it, right? The haters will hate, right? So anyway, let's go, y'all. Hey, Elliot, I want to start with you. To the fam out there, once again, this young man walked into my office fresh out of college, and I was just greatly impressed with him, and offered him the position on the spot. You know, we ain't do no let's see. It's like it's a wrap, right? I interviewed nobody else for that position. It was a wrap, right? And the one of the disadvantages for me is leaving the school when I did, but I had a dream to do this work that I do as a presenter, as a consultant. So I left, and I didn't get to see Elliot flourish in the position, but I know he did, and I've kept up with him from afar. But I want to say this to you, Elliot. I also saw in you, knew there was a leader in you. It's clear and evident, clearly. So I want to ask you, as I ask all my guests on this platform, as an educator, got a two-parter here.
Mm-hmm.
As an educator, who would you say who is Elliot Johnson? Who are you?
So that's a great question, and I think that's core to what we do. Is you have to know yourself. I think that's a big part of it, because you know yourself as you are right now. But then, as you said, you met me fresh out of college, so that was some years ago, and here I am now. So that people change, we all grow as we develop and things like that. But I would say, to answer that, who am I? I would say, as the position I'm in, I would say I'm a collaborator. I would say I'm someone who wants to bring the best out of people. I strongly believe that in a position of leadership in a school, when we talk about being professional and your professional acumen and things like that, I think that includes leading by example. But then the purpose of leading by example is not so you feel like you have to fill in your own insecurities. It's more so that you want to lead by example, to show people, to show your staff and the other professionals that are with you that this is the standard that is being set. So the way I move, the way I talk, the way I engage with students, I want that to be, if someone is saying like, well, how do I do that? How do I do it the best way we can, or a way that be more appropriate or whatnot? They can look at my example, or I can feed them more advice if they have questions and things like that. So I think the collaborator, and also my goal is to inspire, and inspire means to draw someone in to what's going on. So we're all inspired by someone or something in our lives, but it's a thing that we see that's like far off, and we want to go to that. So if I can be that for the students, the faculty, the staff, I'm talking about even like the custodial staff, the security guards, the cook manager, whatnot. If I can do that and be that in my role, then that's success.
I love it. Let me ask you this question. As an AP, although it's for a short stint, does the response change when I say, who is Elliot Johnson as an assistant principal?
It is, because it's a different relationship. And that's something that I know that, as you were talking about before in your monologue, it's a different relationship, and that's something that is difficult for some people. Like how you said before, you see someone who you knew from childhood, right? It was just childhood, and you're like, hey, what's up? It's my, this is the homegirl over here.
Yeah.
But now it's like, wait a minute though. Now there is a boundary. And I know that's a struggle for many people. So I'm glad that was brought up, because that is a struggle for many people, because you're not peers anymore. Like when I was a teacher, I was also a leader in our social studies department. So I was doing PDs. I joined the Amistad commission at the convention that we have in New Jersey to present. So I was doing all those things, but now I'm not like your peer. I'm now in a different position. So I have to not only can I help you with curriculum stuff? Of course. Can I point you this way and that way? Of course. But at the same time, I'm also evaluating you too. So the relationship is different. So to answer the question, it has changed. But at the same time, I do think that we're still part of the same team. We're still part of the same building. We just have different roles. It's like sports. You have different positions to play and different things to do. And if you operate it all together in a healthy way, then we all win.
Yeah, we all win. I love it. I got one more quick one for you before I move on. There are aspiring leaders watching. I know that, right? Because that's a part of it. That's one of the groups that we attract to this platform. And here you are. You're this newbie that hasn't done a full year yet. This is your first full year. You've been in 5.5 months. What advice do you have for that one that's watching now regarding their first month on the job eventually? What would you say to them? Because it's easy to ask Yolanda or Vicki that question, who've been in it for a long time, but I'm curious to know what this real rookie would say to somebody else who wants to be in your shoes doing what you do. What advice would you give them for who you need to be in month number 1?
First word that comes to my mind is you have to be humble. You have to be humble. Especially if you're in the same school district, but you're going to take a position let's say you're going from a teacher at the elementary level, but the position you're going into is at the high school, which is a huge jump. That's no joke. High school is a whole different world.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, you have to just realize who you are coming in. So you're new. So you don't have a track record in this building. You don't have accomplishments in this building. You don't know. I mean, you might know a few staff members here and there, or if not, if you're going to a completely different town, you might not know anybody. But you have to be humble and say that I'm here to do the job, but I'm also here to join what's already happening because I wasn't here. So if you have an attitude of I'm gonna come and I'm gonna kick the doors down, I'm gonna whoop butt out here and I'm gonna do my thing. Well, I would say slow down, because you have to be humble, because you're new. Even though you're in a leadership position, even though you now have the position of authority, that's true. However, you're also still new. So the humble heart is going to say, let me learn the staff, learn their names, know who's who, what's what, introduce yourself, because you're also joining into it, especially if you're coming into an AP position. So now you are subordinate to the principal of the building. That's a person you have to latch onto as well to learn all those things. So if you have a humble heart to say, like, I'm here to learn and I'm here to understand in the first month, it's essential, because you might not know anything. So if you come in there with a humble heart and knowing that you're new, I think that'll go a long way to also build a respect towards you and a trust towards you. Because let's all be honest, when a new leader comes in, it's suspicious sometimes. You might be like, who is this? And to the point earlier, Principal Kafele, they might be trying to figure out the tea on you. And what rumors have been out there, what's been going on. So it's up to you to just come in humble, ready to work, but ready to learn and ready to just join in to what's happening. And then from there, build your relationships and your strategy with your principal. And then you want to take it day by day, step by step, goal by goal, moment to moment as you get in there.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Let me move on. Yolanda, as I said during the bio, when I was reading your bio, you've been rocking with this platform for a very long time. You've been with us since the beginning. And that in and of itself, and I don't say that to pat myself on the back, I'm just giving it to you the way I see it. That speaks volumes about your commitment. But I also know about your commitment beyond this Saturday Academy. You're all about growth. You're all about development. So my question to you, as an educator, I got a 2-parter, maybe a 3. As an educator, give us a better sense. Who is Yolanda McKinney?
Sure. First of all, I want to thank you again for even having me here today. But Yolanda McKinney is a positive product of the Little Rock School District, who is driven by passion and purpose, that thrives on student engagement and staff growth. It's a lot I can say in that moment: student engagement, staff growth. If your students are engaged, highly engaged, your staff will grow. We will see the results from what's being implemented in that classroom. That speaks volumes to what either I received or did not receive in my years as a student. I'm also constantly seeking ways to foster academic excellence in cultivating authentic relationships with high energy every day. Principal Kafele, I'm talking about I come to school, you can't say, I'm on fire. Hey, when I say I come to school every single day, and they're like, McKinney, what's happening? Some people are, how many cups of coffee has she had today? None. It's natural. This comes natural. It's again my passion, my purpose. Teachers see it, parents see it, students see it. From the moment I have the opportunity to welcome them on campus, I'm giving fist bumps. I'm giving high fives. I'm telling parents, have a great day. It's all passion filled. And this is my energy every day. I'm dancing in the hallways, I'm very visible. And so a lot of that comes with my background, coming from Little Rock School District, right? And then just growing into the position that I'm in today. But it would not have been possible if I didn't have that why instilled in me.
That's powerful stuff. And I got like my left side of the brain is saying one thing, and my right side is saying something else. Because like Yolanda, it's hard for me to hear the words Little Rock and not go to 1957. I just, I'm not wired that way. It's certain cities. If someone says to me Birmingham, I'm going right to September 15, 1963. Right. If someone says Selma to me, I'm going right to March 7, 1965. Right. And it's like all these, I could just keep on giving you these dates. And, they say Memphis, I'm going to April 4, 1968. Right. And it's like, so I promise you, I'm not getting ready to get into the history of the Little Rock Nine. But I just needed to put out into the AP and New Principals Academy universe. If somebody out there, I promise you, I'm not getting ready to hijack this academy from my guests. But I'm going to say to you, if you're not conversant in the Little Rock Nine, right? Like, don't know, oh, that's the 9 students in Little Rock. No. Look, this is your brother. I'm saying know the story, know it, and make sure that your students know what you know, right? They gotta know it, because when we talk about, man, I'm getting ready to stop. I'm done. Know the story. I'm getting ready to preach.
It seems a little bit more because I went to Little Rock Central High School for 4 years. I was there. I walked the halls.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh yes. Proud graduate. Yes, sir. I've been there. I've walked the halls. I've seen what's in the history books. My parents attended the Little Rock Central High School. So my sisters, my brothers, shout out to them. They're on this live. My family members that are on live, they attended Little Rock Central High School. Hail to the old gold, hail to the black. But yes, sir. It runs deep. It runs deep.
Tell you what, let me take a sip of water.
Absolutely.
We ain't here to talk Little Rock, so let me get myself back focused. And I got one more for you, and then I'm gonna go to Vicki. There's a Yolanda, there's a new leader out there. Might be new, but it could be a veteran. But I'm gonna keep the language as new. There's a new leader out there who was really excited about getting this position as an AP, right? I could even say as a new principal, one or the other, but let me focus on AP. And now that they're in it, here we are. We're getting close to October. And they're in it, and it just doesn't seem or feel like what I thought it was going to be. It is something very different that I do not like. I am not having fun. I am not feeling fulfilled. I am not enjoying myself. I am missing what I used to do, whether it be as a classroom teacher, as a counselor, maybe I was a supervisor at central office. I want to get back there, because this is not what I thought it was going to be. for whatever the reason. Could be a zillion different reasons, but just for whatever the reason, I just want to ask you, Yolanda, from your vantage point, what advice would you have for this person? And I want to give you the spirit upon which I gave you this question, because in your bio, it indicates how positive you are, but there's a language that you use that you said you're a goal getter. Most people say goal setter. You said goal getter. So I deliberately asked you this question. What is your advice to this person?
Hey, principal, assistant principal that's out there, you have to go back to your why. Some talking points that we'll talk about later. I won't get into it now because I want to keep that thunder there, but it definitely goes back to your why. You must understand the impact that you, who's at the table, have on people around you. And I'm talking many, many, many stakeholders. Also, you must understand that the cost of leadership is not cheap. The cost of leadership is not cheap. I'll say it again. Also, the weight of leadership, it's not light, it's heavy. It's real heavy. Coming in, you're more than just your title, right? You are so many other people in this one position, and you have to make sure you are balancing those leadership tasks to ultimately create an environment that's conducive to your mission, your vision, staying true to who you are. I also think it's important to know that in the position, you don't have to know it all or do it all, right? Regulate, delegate. We are here as, it's been stated before, we're here as a team, right? We can all be a part of a joyous family, but we are on a team. And when we're on a team, we're working for a common goal, right? We all want the W, right? We will take losses, but how are we reflecting on those losses? What are our next steps?
Mm-hmm.
What best instructional practices will we put into place? Who's in your PLN, right? As a new administrator, you have to, again, get into one of my talking points, you have to lean on who you have. You have to have someone. Don't think you have to know it all. That's not what it's about. And I say, really understand your impact. Understand your impact. Understand you're going to have to make decisions that everybody won't agree with. And that's okay. Sometimes, as Principal Kafele said in his opening, people are going to talk about you. They will. But I guarantee you, if it's the right work and they see the artifacts, they'll come back and say, oh, that makes sense. I get it now. Oh, that's why she moved this way. That's why she did this way, right? I always tell my staff, with my energetic self, sometimes I'll come down the hallways, guys, this is my beat today. Oh, I'm moving slow, but I'm still going. And other days there's, hey, let's get it, let's go. Hey, let's get it, let's go. So model what you expect, inspect what you inspect, constantly refer to your mirror, lean in on your team, and drive home what it is that your mission, your vision is for the school, because students, they deserve it.
I love it. I love it. And I'm looking at I'm looking at the comments with it and promoting at the same time. But strong stuff. Vicki, let's jump into it. As was said in the bio, you are a true Buffalonian, whether it be born and raised, educated, K-12, but then also collegiately. It's who you are. I bleed East Orange, New Jersey, and I'm sure you bleed Buffalo, right? So my question to you, who is Vicki Baxter as an educator? But I want to add this extension to that question. Does in any way your Buffalo roots inspire who you are as an educator?
Absolutely. Buffalo can have a really bad rap. People know us for our snow.
Mhm.
They know us for our football team that goes to the Super Bowl but never wins.
Mhm.
So we are a tough breed of people. If we can manage the snow and the reputation of our sports teams, we can make it anywhere. They say that about New York City. I say it about Buffalo. But who am I? I guess I'll say it this way. I am a person with a purpose that was wonderfully and specifically designed by God to make an impact in this world. I'm tenacious. Um, those who know me know I have been injured by students. I have had 3 spine surgeries, and I keep going back to work. People ask me why. Why? It's my purpose. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. Um, I believe that there is good in everybody. And I don't have to agree with your politics, how you grew up, where you live, who your parents were, how much money you have, how much money you don't have. The bottom line is we are all part of this world and the human and just humanity. And we all want to live a good life. No one is born and say, you know what? I think I'm just going to grow up and live up under a bridge. I'm not going to get a job. I'm just going to walk the streets. Our parents don't believe that. Our children don't believe that. Nobody comes into the world believing that. And for me, whatever room I'm in, I want to have made my presence known so that when I leave that room, that my impact has been felt, and they are better off because I've been there.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
See that speaks to your
That's right.
confidence in who you are and what you do. And there's someone in the world that would see that as being egotistical or cocky, but I always correct them. I say, no, how do we perform at high levels if we don't have the confidence in our own ability to perform at those levels? It matters. It matters. I love it. Vicki, you've got a special needs, a SPED background as a teacher. And one of the things I've noticed over the years, a long time, is that folks who go into leadership with a SPED background tend, and I don't want to be absolute or paint with too broad of a brush, but tend to lead differently than folks who have a regular ed background. Instead of me telling you what I mean by differently, I want to see if it comes out in the conversation. Does your background as a special needs teacher, a SPED teacher, have any influence over who you became as an administrator, as a leader?
I think the essence is it was always who I was, which made me go into special ed, get the experiences there, and then move into a leadership position. I think I have always wanted just to make the lives of the people around me better. It's like, if I'm going to be great, come on, let's link arms. Let's just all be great together.
Yeah.
I'm not from a military family, but I know they have the clause, the motto, the saying, we don't leave anybody behind. And I think that's just who I am. I'm always looking for opportunities to help make you better, because when you become better, we become better.
I was and I'm gonna stay with you, Vicki. In the special, we talk about equity, right? And in terms of classroom equity, and with classroom equity, we're thinking about I'm thinking about the individuality of young people. And it's very easy still in 2024 to walk into a regular ed classroom and see a teacher delivering a lecture as if each of the youngsters were going to receive that information equally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the special needs teacher has a different approach because you can't lecture in that environment, right? It's a very different kind of an environment. So with that, given who I'm assuming you were as that special needs teacher, did that individuality lend itself to who you became leader, or is it better to just go back to why you became educator in the first place in terms of what inspired as you articulated it before?
Well, prior to me becoming an administrator, as you said in my bio, I've been in the game 30 years. I've only done leadership in this position for 1.5 years. So a lot of my time and background is in special ed. And I think the things that I saw, the discriminatory practices, how other teachers viewed me because I was not a real teacher, because I had a smaller class, I think that those had impacts in developing my sensitivity as well as my need to have others see students with special needs, teachers with special needs, no matter, if you're an encore teacher, no matter what your background is, to see us all as professionals, to see us as human beings, to see us as your equal, and to learn how to support one another so that we could all be great.
Yeah, love it. Hey, Elliott, you are an ambassador of the New Jersey Amistad Commission. Now, there are more than just Jersey folks on the call, so let me just give this quick summary. Folks, back when I was a rookie principal, the year was exactly 2002, so I guess I was in for a couple of years. The great William Payne, who was the brother of former congressman and the late, great Congressman Donald Payne Sr., and his son Donald Payne Jr. just recently transitioned. William Payne, along with his nephew, I'm having a live mental block, Craig Stanley, they introduced this legislation called the Amistad Act. And the Amistad Act said that the history of African-American people has to be taught kindergarten through 12th grade, primarily in the social studies curriculum, but a lot of that language has evolved over the years because society has changed. But that was legislation where it became law in 2002. And so this Amistad law became a commission, the Amistad Commission. And here we are in 2024, and we're still trying to make this thing become reality in the 600 some odd school districts in New Jersey. So I wanted to give you that backdrop to the fam out there. This is law. It's on the books in New Jersey, the Amistad Commission, which says that all children, not black children now, all children must learn the history of black people, right, in this country. So with that said, Elliott, in your bio, it says you have led professional development workshops in your home school district and have collaborated with peers to infuse the Amistad content into multiple subject areas. So see, now we're not even talking about just language, social studies anymore. So the Amistad is folks that know me know that the Amistad is very important to me, but clearly it is important to you. All right, so my question to you, why is this Amistad Commission rooted in the Amistad legislation? Why is it so important to Elliott Johnson?
Well, like you said, it is very important to me personally. So to tell two stories, to give even more context, my first year at the mighty North Tech with Principal Kafele, I had an amazing mentor teacher, Dr. James Andrews, as I'm sure you remember. And he
still in touch.
Oh, there you go. He told me about the Amistad Commission. And not only that, he said, you need to sign up for this summer institute. And I said, okay, let's do it. This is my first year. and went to the Summer Institute, hooked, absolutely hooked in terms of what was being brought. I thought I was alone as a history teacher with certain things, but then I realized there was a larger network of people with the same mentality and going into the same mission of what we were going to do with infusing the content, and went to years of summer institutes. Get a phone call, or not a phone call, got a DM on Instagram from one of the commissioners. Hey, can you be a speaker at the educators convention for the Amistad Commission? And I said, you had to ask me? Of course.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I get into my first day at my school in this position, and I go around to introduce myself to teachers, shake hands. I'm Mr. Johnson, I'm the new vice principal. Go to one bilingual social studies classroom, and the teacher goes, oh, hey, aren't you the Amistad guy who presented at like for the past couple years during the summer, like when we had our department meetings or whatever? Oh, yeah, that was me. Man, I loved your presentations. I took so much from that stuff. I do that all the time. This is a bilingual classroom. Like he's infusing it too. And all that to say is that was, to me, was like a confirmation, a payoff, because I'm like, okay, that is being received out there. And the reason it's important to me personally is because I think of myself as a student. I think of myself as a child, and wishing and hoping that there was more of that when I was growing up, to understand the broader picture and not just stick to Harriet Tubman, God bless her, we all love Harriet Tubman. Martin Luther King Jr., we all love Martin Luther King Jr. Jackie Robinson, we all love Jackie Robinson. But there's so much more, and not only in just American history, but global history, and not only in history classes, but in the English class, in the arts, in math, in all these different things. And the goal is to make the curriculum accurate and infuse more of what the reality is of education from the experiences of Black Americans, African Americans, like the infusion of those things. And so once it's presented, and once it's presented correctly and accurately, and that's important too. Once it's presented, I've seen so many teachers who at first were skeptical. Like, oh, what is this? Like, oh, a new thing. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. Here's another thing that I got to do, right? But once you start communicating it the right way, you see the creativity of the teachers, and it stimulates them to do certain things. To, well, what can we do? Let's not wait till February. What can we do now? What can we do in September, October, November? What can we do now? And so when I come into it and I bring this up and I talk about it, first I have the, I guess, clout, if you will, because like the story I mentioned before with the teacher, oh, you were the guy who doing the thing. Before that, so there's a paved road here. Bringing the accuracy of it and saying, and to a teacher to come up to me and say, well, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I do this? And I say, I'm glad you asked. Come sit down with me and I'll show you. I'll take you step by step in certain things. You could do this. Here's this website. Here's that. Here's let me pull this binder from my shelf. Take this with you. Take a look. So I think that it's the holistic education, which is important for everybody. And like how you said, not for just Black students. This is for everybody to learn. But also it's for the teachers to learn too, because in this position, we are still educators, but as we all know now and have been experiencing, we're also educating our colleagues, our staff members. We're educating them too in pedagogy, in curricula, and all those different things. So something like the Amistad is where I like to jump in and say, well, this is something that I have expertise in. This is where something I have experience in. And I want to impart it to everybody, to all of you, so that you can also join into what we're doing. Now, I'm proud to say in my district, there was a grassroots movement for Amistad. Grassroots. I mean, we're talking church meetings, we're talking clergy, everything like that. I mean, we're talking the real deal here. Wow. And I was so proud to be a part of those meetings, discussion, because I remember one, it was like, was there any teacher here is there a teacher at this meeting that knows about it? And I stood up like, this is my moment. Here it is. And now in this position, still communicating with those people, say, I'm glad that you're in this position so you can keep it going for what's been established. And I'm telling you, it was grassroots. So when we put it together here in Elizabeth, we're going to Board of Education meetings. I'm speaking with parents, things like that. And it's something that there's a desire, there's a hunger, and I'm thankful to God that it can be filled. It's a long journey, everyone. I don't want to make it seem like it's been easy, because it's not an uphill struggle. It's a 90-degree struggle. It's a perpendicular struggle.
Yeah.
But it's something that we're making step, because it's not just the school, it's not just the state government, it's the community too. And it's bringing all that together to say, like, hey, this is what we're doing. We want everyone to join on to it. This is what it is. If you're skeptical, here's what it is in its fullness. There's no secrets here. I'm not trying to fool nobody. So here it is. And we want you, parent, educator, community member, business owner, we want you to join in with us, because it's for everybody here, everybody to learn.
I love it. Let me stay with you for a minute. We're still, to the fam out there, I'm still in preliminary. We got the talking points to get to, but the preliminary is so hot for me right now. Listen, Elliott, a lot of times when and maybe you all know this, when you do a keynote address and you're going to do a follow-up breakout session, one of the disadvantages to the other breakout presenters is if the keynote was good, the bulk of the audience is going to come to the breakout session of the keynote, right? I try to discourage it from when I'm on the platform saying it's other great speakers here, go check them out. But then you get to the breakout room and it's standing room only, right? So now they rocking with it. So I seize the opportunity to find a way to drop some history while I'm in there, particularly if I'm doing anything that's dealing with diversity, equity, inclusion, then I can always find an opening and get into some history. So since Yolanda's on the screen and it triggered the whole thought of Little Rock, so I can go in there and talk about it. But beyond that, I can talk about the fact that, and this could be a predominantly white audience, it could be a 100% white audience, right? So I'm not talking about an audience with a bunch of black folks in the room. Right. So now I can go in there and say, but the following school year, the year after 57, 58, the governor closed all the high schools in Little Rock, right? They're looking at me like, really? But then I'll go to them, but then beginning in 1959, in Prince Edward County, Virginia, they closed the entire district for the next 5 years to prevent desegregation. So the crowd is in the room like, really? Like, so then I'm like, all right, let me get back on topic. And I promise you, invariably, they won't let me get back on topic. Like, no, Principal Kafele, give us more, right? So someone in the room who may have been resistant, but now this is very relaxed setting. Y'all heard the keynote, you loved it. Now let me get a little bit more from this guy. And now I can give them that information and there's less defense to prevent it from penetrating, right? So I'm saying all that to say this to you. Talk to, because we got a leadership audience on here. Talk to these leaders about your thoughts, being this Amistad ambassador, your thoughts on what should they be, I'm talking specifically about the families watching right now. Yeah. What should they be doing to make this New Jersey law become a part of the reality in their schools?
I think what's important is to be as successful as you can be. I think it has to be multi-institutions working together, like I hinted at before. If you have a partnership with community members and it comes, so it's supply and demand. So if you have one side saying, we want this, and the other side saying, we can provide that, and make those things work together, that's when you'll have the better collaboration. I had went to last summer, so summer 2023, I had went to the Amistad Institute in New Jersey at William Patterson University. And I had met a teacher there who was from my hometown. Now, my hometown in New Jersey here is predominantly white. And I met this teacher who taught in my elementary school that I went to as a child. And she was very passionate, very passionate. And I had to ask her, though, I said, do you face resistance being passionate about this content? And she said, sometimes I do. Now, I said, well, how do you feel about it? She said, well, what does help is having the backing of the law, at least. It's on the books. So at least you have that to stand on. However, the implementation thing is what's hard. Now, I would say if you are out there listening now and you want to have something like this, I would really, really encourage you to not do it alone. I would encourage you to seek out people in the community who have the same mindset. Seek out people in your state legislature or even in your municipal legislature who have the same mindset and work together to understand the need, because that's the strategy that we have to operate. There has to be need for this, and you have to communicate need for this. It can't be just a whim of saying, well, I think this would be cool. And I mean, there's things I think would be cool. There's things you think that would be cool. I mean, it might not happen. I mean, you individually might think is great. But if there's a genuine need that is coming from the community, coming from educators, professionals, coming from other entities out there, and if you can put those things together, then you're going to create momentum. Like I said, I'm proud to say that here in Elizabeth, where I live and work, there was that grassroots coming up from the community itself that we as the school the school system were able to partner with. So don't do it alone. Don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone. I love
Don't do it alone. Work together. Seek out those people. They're out there. I'll tell you right now, they are out there. It's just a matter of making sure that everybody can get in the room together or get online together or whatever. And then you can start hashing out. I mean, think about like how many movements have started like that. It's a small group, but you have to start with there and then move forward.
Love it, love it. I'm gonna keep this conversation moving because we got so much to cover. Yolanda, your bio indicates that you are a passionate, data-driven trailblazer and pioneer of excellence, known for her positive, high energy and goal-getter attitude. I want to break this down. And let me say to you all, it's 12:12. We got a lot to cover. Y'all give me the shorter answers because we got a lot to cover, y'all. Those of you out there, don't forget them college games or just put them on, turn the volume down. We got it going on right now. Data driven. Elaborate on how you're going about using data. What is it that you're saying to us when you say that you are this data driven trailblazer? Unmute.
Oh, sorry. So yes, absolutely. And I'll keep it short. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so when I'm talking about being data driven, it's a concept. And it's kind of like being a skilled OTR driver, right? Aim high, you're low. So you're really honing in on what the data says. You're using various points of data. You have your formative, your summative. You want to make sure whatever data you have that's going to drive your practices, if they are research-based and they work for your campus. What might work for the east side of the district might not work for the west side of the district. What might work for the north side might not work for the south side. You have to be deeply rooted in what your data says for you. And so what that really means in all essence is you want to be responsive to the students that are in your building, right? You want to be responsive to how your teachers are delivering that instruction. Lean in again on those individuals that can help you break that down. That might be bringing in your instructional coach, right? And hey, let's look at this data protocol. Let's see, how did this student score? How did that student score? Oh, your student scored higher? Mr. Kafele, what did you do? Oh, I taught it like this. Oh, okay, I've never seen it that way. Can you teach me that way? Or hey, how about we flip-flop? How about you come over to my class And can you show that to my students? You have to go beneath the surface to find the root to continue, you know, getting that academic gap to close and those scores to rise. So really being intentional about what's in front of you. You are using the data that's in front of you to drive those best next steps.
So tell us real quick, Yolanda, because there are those of us who are APs who the only data that we really see is the discipline data, right?
Mm.
Because that's what we're confined to as administrators, dealing with discipline, addressing discipline all day. So we know that data, we know it inside and out. Talk to us about that other data, particularly that academic data. Why is that so significant to an AP and quite frankly, to a principal? And before you answer that, real quick, Majudy speaks, principal, and I don't know if you don't want me to disclose your identity since you're using that name. Reach out to Elliott, just send him an inbox so that so that the two of you can talk about that data. What he's asking, Elliott, if you didn't see it, he's asking for some of the data. This is a Jersey principal, right? So what data, if you can share data that demonstrates the effectiveness of Amistad. In other words, this is a strong advocate of Amistad. This is not somebody that's trying to, push your back against the wall. This is somebody who's a strong advocate of Amistad. So just y'all need to talk, right? You might even know each other. I just don't know if he wants me to say his name because he's using that name, right? All right, let's go back to Yolanda. Do I need to repeat or you good?
No, I got it. So just thinking of the data, and that's unfortunate if all you see is behavior data. We do know that behavior is communication. So even with that behavior data that you have, let's use it. Let's see, what is it communicating? Is this student only having behavior documents on Fridays? Is it early Mondays? There's going to be a pattern, right? You're going to begin to see a trend. But as you mentioned, there's more data than just behavior data. You have these standard test scores, that come in. I am not a big pusher on tests, state tests. They do not determine what a student know and what they can do. So I'm not huge on that. However, that's data, right? That's something that you can use. However, more so than the state data that we rely on, we have these things called MAP tests. Shout out to Sean Hurt. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to drop names, but he has really taken me to a different level with understanding MAP just from this platform and listening to him when he's having those sessions about using that data to inform your instruction. And so when you're looking at your daily, your weekly, your unit assessments to inform the students about their understanding and giving them their progress, that helps that student have ownership. When I was a teacher in the classroom, we had ladders, and students knew, okay, I'm on step 2, and I still have to get to 5. So you have to break it down to where the students understand so that they can take ownership. Involve them in the data. Data is not a secret. Data is a tool. It's a tool that should be used to enhance your teaching practices. It should enhance the learning environment that you're in. It should help you grow within your craft, right? You're going to lean in again on your teammates to determine what are the best next steps. Please don't call students, oh, these are the low students. We're going to put the low students over here. I don't think anybody named on your roster is low student. Hey, where's low? Where's student? That's not their name, right? These students are at promise like everybody else. So let's say, oh, well, these students that display challenges in the area of XYZ, let's see how we can best meet their needs, right? Perception data, you have perception data as far as surveys and feedback that can be informal or formal. You definitely want to use that because it gathers perspectives from everybody. It's holistically. It's not just, like you said earlier, oh, I can just put this in a newsletter and I'm going to put it out and see where it goes. Oh, you filled it out, checkbox, right? It has to be more than a checkbox. You really have to get down and dirty with it. It's kind of like creating a meatloaf. If anybody's on here that likes to cook, when you are creating a meatloaf, you have several different things that you are going to throw in that pan. You might have the breadcrumbs. You might have the whatever meat you're going to use. You might have that egg that's going to pull it together. You have all these ingredients that are going to culminate together to create this luscious deal, right? This meal that you want to really devour. But how do you get there? Are you putting the right ingredients in that meatloaf? You have to bring the right people to the table with what's in front of you. Again, keep your perspective on who's in front of you. You have to stay laser focused on those students that are in front of you to move that academic needle.
Powerful stuff. Hey, folks out there, hit that share button, hit that retweet, repost, whatever they call it these days. Hit that like button. Let them know we are here. Activate them algorithms. Let them know we are here. There's so many names on here that are new because of they're attached to my 3 guests. Want you all to stay on here, but let somebody else know that there's that we out here putting out this good information. Let me ask you one more thing, Yolanda. And this is an extension of a previous question I asked, but it's to you personally. It's not necessarily a generic question. Your bio says you're known for your positive high energy and goal getter attitude. So my question to you is how does Yolanda go about staying positive despite the challenges, the obstacles, the pressures, the demands, the politics, and I can keep going, of this work? How do you now continue to stay positive in the work you do?
Absolutely. So the first thing that comes to mind is you drop to your knees and you pray about everything. Because when you do that, sometimes you're confused, but there are things that work how they're supposed to work. We know that, we could talk about surpassing all understanding. Sometimes we don't understand why. And what helps me is that first. Secondly, is I go back to my passion and my purpose. My passion and my purpose. I know who I am. I know what I want to be. I know what type of legacy I want to leave. I legit still have students that I taught 20 years ago. Their parents still, and some are on here today. I have some parents on here. Thank you for being here. They still send me letters. They send me gifts to wherever school I'm at. Mrs. McKinney, we love you. Thank you for what you did for my students. Getting invites to graduations. All that stuff comes back. What you pour in is gonna come back, right? I am is the glass half full or half empty? It's almost empty. I gotta turn it up. I don't want to hear, well, it's kind of full. No, if it's not at the top, we're doing something wrong. So, just really having that lifelong learner mindset, knowing there's always something that I can be doing to go that extra distance. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. When I'm uncomfortable, that means I'm growing. I'm growing, and thank you. Once I'm done with something that's hard, I'll go back and I'll say, oh, and thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you for that experience. I appreciate that. I've learned from that. And so, and then, like I say, having 4 kids that's literally a 2nd grader, a 6th grader in middle school, a 9th grader in high school, and then a junior in college, that's keeping me going. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? How can we vertically align what you all are doing? Because I expect my kids to be great. I have to be that model. Mom, why are you so happy? Why not? We are above ground. That's enough alone to be happy, right? There is not another day that's granted to us. We don't know the time, the day, the hour. So be grateful for where you are. Be planted where your feet are, right? And that's enough. That's enough because we have today. There's no reason to be any other type of way. And if you are that type of person, you're in the wrong space. Education does not have people that don't have fire every day. You're in the wrong space. I'm gonna need you to. I was gonna hold my little prop for later, but I'm gonna need you to go to your mirror and find that little lock and get yourself locked in. If you're not locked in to what we do on an every single day basis, you gotta do something different because you're hurting us, right? And data shows that teachers are exiting quickly than ever before, right? There's so many research studies that shows that. But how? and why? What can we do to keep that fire blazing? And I'm not kidding. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people that are on here that either I shared it or they seen it, they know and they can tell you it's every single day with me. There's not a day, even in the rain. I'm dancing in the rain in my rain boots with my umbrella every day. You have to.
I'm glad that you had that mirror because I took mine out the bag to shave my head the other day. And for those that don't know, I'm in Aruba. That's why the background looks different. But I just found something in my bag, baby. I got
There it
one.
is.
This
There it
ain't
is.
the right one, but
Yeah. Yep.
gotta keep this emergency
Yep.
mirror in the bag, man.
Yep. Put it up. Put it up.
When I'm doing these presentations, man, because I tell everybody, I can't do a presentation without a mirror in my hand. So I keep this little emergency one.
Sir.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Vicki, let's go. You know, and a fam out there, fam and new fam. Yeah, I'm in preliminary. Like I'm in intro mode. Intro mode from the comments has been very strong, right? But I ain't even get to the stuff yet. So y'all hang in there with me. This is the last intro question. Intro, and it's like 12:30, right? Isn't that something? Uh, hey Vicky, your bio indicates I love this here. It says she believes there are three key elements to a successful school. These are sound instructional practices, positive culture and climate, and strong family and community partnerships. I agree with you wholeheartedly, right? Unequivocally. Um, let me. I read this in your bio. There's a lot of people who've been on here since I read the bio. I want to read this piece to you because I got a question for you about this. You said it says in the bio, in her first year, you remember I put emphasis on that before. In her first year, she impacted the culture and climate with the staff, students, and families throughout several initiatives. This began with listening to the concerns of the school community and making them an essential part of the process. Her approach to staff observations focused on supporting the staff instead of being harsh and critical, building upon positive, caring relationships and conversations. Staff received weekly bulletins with pertinent information and inspirational videos. She established a young ladies empowerment mentoring program developed with the input and leadership of a senior student, reconnected the alumni with the school, which supports through mentorship, networking, and funding special projects, and hosted an auto and motorcycle show to showcase the school's auto, welding, and tool machining programs and to increase enrollment. The school had not hosted an auto show in 12 years. The event was free to the community. Local dealerships, technical training schools were vendors seeking employees and students, and over $8,000 was donated by the local businesses and partners through her efforts. Now, I indicated here, I said to myself, just a note to myself, that paragraph alone is a whole workshop. It's a full day workshop because there's so much in there. So here's my question to you. You can take it, you can run with it however you want to. How were you able to, and I want you to hear this language, how were you able to not only do this, particularly in year one, but do this, but for me, more importantly, to be this in your first year as an assistant principal?
That is a really good question. And I think what is more pressing to me is how was I able to be this? And I think I'll start a little bit about me. I talked about I had been injured by students. I had come back. It took me 11 years to get my certification to become an administrator. There were so many different roadblocks, so many, positive things happened, but there were so many challenges that I had to face. I finished my first course or my final course days before I had my first spine surgery. Days. My father died, and I had to have someone clean out his house so that we could move forward with his estate. So when I think about all that I've gone through, I didn't do that just to do it. I had a purpose, I had a journey, I had a destination. So I knew that there was something trying to block me so I couldn't be impactful. And that's the first thing you need to tell me. Tell me I can't do it. And I will say, just watch. Just watch. And I'm going to do it above and beyond what you can think or imagine, because I know who my daddy is. And when he says, this is what I've called you to do, this is who I've called you to be, enough said. Enough said. So for me, it was, even when I was injured with my back, they told me, oh, you'll never walk. I was in a wheelchair at one time. I went to a walker, I went to a cane, and then I went back to working out and running 3Ks. So at this point, I have learned, and I'm probably one of the more senior members over here. I understand I don't have a lot of time left. And I have to make my days count. And prior to me coming to where I was, there was a situation at the former school. I was there for like 7 years. We were in a faculty meeting. And this school had like 57 different, 57 countries represented in their student population. It was so diverse. And I was told that students that wanted to pray were being punished. And they were put in detention and given suspensions. And I approached the faculty and I said, I heard this, but I know this can't be true. This can't be true. So one of the initiatives I did at that school was I established something called Diversity Hall. And Diversity Hall, every month, whatever that, we have these months where we celebrate Hispanic and Native American and Italian. And I said, you know what? We're going to take this big hallway, this bridge, and we're going to give it to the students. And we're going to allow them to tell their own stories. At this point, we cannot tell children, teach them about their own culture. They need to tell us. We need to be the learners. Let me learn from you, because I'm getting something from a book that's probably a lie anyway. So I opened up this space, and when I left, they were brokenhearted. But when I left, they continued the practice. And that's what I mean when I say I'm here to do something. And when God shifts me, I said, okay, then you have something for me to do here. And when he shifts me again, I'll cry for a day or two. And then I'll say, okay, what we about to do?
I'm hearing through everything you said and everything I read that came out of your bio. There's a word that's in my head, and the word is authenticity or authentic. I think that there's a large debate in education or even beyond education about the limits of authenticity. One wants to be authentic, but yet if one brings their true authenticity, they may be on the outside looking in. Talk to us, because I would think, I have to believe, like there's about 700 real-time people on right now, right? So that means that there's been at least, I would say, if I could estimate it right after having done this as long as I had, if I'm seeing 700 real-time with the 4 platforms combined, that means there's at least 3,000-4,000 people who've been in and out, right? So it's a lot. So it's a lot of people hearing us this morning. I have to believe that there's someone in that real-time count that's saying, yeah, I just want to go in there and be me, authentically, right? But not even realizing that, well, that's fine, it's good on paper, but if you bring your full authenticity, that could be detrimental. I guess it depends on where you are, who's your leadership, what's the politics, all that kind of thing. I want you said you identified yourself as the senior member of the 3, because I know you ain't senior of me. I'll be 64 in October, right? So here's the thing. Talk to one of them young heads out there about your thoughts on bringing your full authenticity to your leadership at your school?
Mm.
That's
First, let me say I'm real close to you.
You're right. You're up there. You with me?
I'm on your heels. I'm on your heels. Here's the thing. I think we have to know ourselves, and we always have to know our audience.
Mm.
I recently learned a really good lesson in church, and had to do an apology letter. And I was told to do announcements, and I kind of went off on a tangent and said some things that I had no business. I came back to the leadership and apologized. They said I didn't need to, but I said this was an important leadership learning experience for me, because just because I can say it doesn't mean I should say it.
That's right. That's right.
I learned that. So when you come into a new building for our new APs, whether it's at the assistant principal level, principal, teacher, staff member, and as you said, I started off as a teacher aide. You have to allow people to get to know who you are first.
Yes.
You can't come in turning over tables. You can't. You have to get them to know you and know your heart. Once they know your heart, they can hear what comes out of your mouth.
That's right. That's right.
If you are literally walking past folks, not speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to do their evaluations,
Mm-hmm.
they have already created their story about who you are.
Yeah.
Facts.
And no matter whatever you try to do, any type of initiative, they're going to look at you side-eye like, what's she doing that for? Who she thinks she is? And one of the things I was intentional about when I got to Burgard, first of all, my granddaughter graduated here and became a welder. So that gave me some, and I'll say it again, that gave me some street credibility. Like I knew something. Like I wasn't clueless to the building,
right,
at all. So, I really took the time. Like the first time, I didn't spend like minutes and hours in teachers' classrooms. I will bop in, bop out. And Principal Kafele, I don't know if I got this from you at Black Educators Rock, Go Doc, or if through this platform. But you told a story about being in a principal in a classroom, and you had this teacher that was tough. And it didn't matter what, they were just like blocking you with their right, blocking you with your left. And what you said you decided to, you would just stop and have conversations about sports.
Yeah.
Have conversations. How's your family doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Before you even dealt with anything academic or classroom.
That's right.
I took that thing to heart.
Yeah.
I took that thing to heart. That was like gold to me. So when I came here, because in our district, you could be in a building one year, the next year you can be someplace else. And for teachers, students, and families, that can bring on high anxiety. So if you coming in, pulling out the whip, there is not one initiative, one idea, one thought that you have that anybody's going to support, because they think that you're power tripping.
That's right.
And you cannot come in power tripping in a new place.
Say that, Ms. Baxter. Say it.
That's a word right there.
100%.
That's strong stuff. Hey, if there's a newbie out there or even a veteran that needed to hear that, I hope you heard that, right? I'm gonna say to you, and then I'm gonna transition to our talking points. When I reflect back on my principalship, I'm clear that I was me. There's no doubt in my mind that I didn't bring my authenticity. But as I've said on this platform many a times, my authenticity got me in trouble. Those that know my work, I'm thinking about, I haven't made it definitive yet, but I have an anniversary coming up. Today is the 14th. On the 16th of September, I was of 2004, so this is the 20th anniversary. I was involuntarily transferred to another school as a punishment. That's September 16, 2004. I'm thinking about doing a video on the 16th. I just haven't made up my mind yet. On the 17th of September 2004, I was suspended. On the 19th, I had a pre-scheduled radio interview on a station called 98.7 Kiss FM, and 3 million people heard me. I was there to talk about a book that I wrote, but the callers got through from East Orange and told the host that I was suspended, not in a negative way. They were like, we need to be talking about that so we can formulate a plan to get back into school, that type of thing. So that was on September the 19th. On September the 20th and the 21st, the news media made my story the #1 story in the news in the New York area. And then finally on the 24th was my termination hearing, right? And that same night I was reinstated, and it was said I did nothing wrong unanimously by the board, and I was to report back to work the next day. Just me telling you that is authenticity, because a lot of people gonna hide that, especially if you have the stature I have in education these days. They're gonna hide that and hope it never comes to surface. I'm very open with it because there's too many lessons in it, right? I didn't give you the lessons. I just told you the facts, but there's so many lessons. I'm hoping to do these videos each day of significance and give the lessons within it. I just don't know if I'm going to do it yet. I may wait for the 25th anniversary, but this is the 20th anniversary. And I just want to put that out there, that my authenticity created some issues for me, but I had the wherewithal to know how to navigate it.
Yes.
And as they would say, and here I am now, baby. Right. So, it's everybody's not going to have that opportunity. Right. In fact, I may have piqued some curiosity. This platform today is not about me, but since I put it out there, let me just at least say this to someone whose curiosity may have been piqued by me saying that. Mr. Elliott Johnson and I know each other for this reason. That school district, Essex County Vocational Technical Schools, recruited me because they saw what was happening in the news. So they saw it. They said, let us offer you a reset on your career. I turned them down multiple times, but the superintendent was persistent and he kept calling my office saying, at least hear me out. I was going to leave and start a business as a speaker. That was in 2004. But he convinced me that I could lead this school the way I want to lead it. So I said, well, if that's the case, you're not going to micromanage me. I'll take the position. So I went on and took the position with the intent of staying for 1 year. 1 year became 6 years. I fell in love with it. And then ultimately I left after the 6 years, which would have been Mr. Elliott's first year. And hence here we are. Here we are in this space. Everybody's not going to have it that way unless you have the wherewithal to navigate it and make it a winning situation, right? You got to have that too. If you just gonna go in there bold and audacious, but you don't have the wherewithal to navigate what you got yourself into. So now, what's your plan B? Because superintendent said to me, I can say this because he's not the current superintendent. Superintendent said to me to my face, "I'm going after your certification. I'm not just going after your job. I'm going after your certification. So in other words, I'm going after your livelihood." That's because I bought authentic me. So I just want y'all to understand that. I know probably like, yo, tell me more, Kafele. Like, I don't know this part of you. Another time, y'all. But I might do them videos this week. We'll see. We'll see. Let's go to these talking points, y'all. My wife she up in the room. She probably like, yo, man, you giving too much, man. No, I ain't gonna be haunted by that no more. That's over. That's over. Let's see where we at. Talking points. Where we at here? Here we go. I'm here. Yolanda, I'm gonna start off with you. You said show up, and I know that because of the kinds of questions I asked, y'all probably responded to every talking point you gave me. But let's see where it goes. You said show up for all. You put it in capital letters. Show up for all students every day, all day. Y'all give me the short answers so we can get through all of them, and I don't have to reschedule. Right? What are you saying?
Okay. For sure. Show up for all students every day, all day. ALL. That's all leveled learners.
Ooh.
All level learners. So we're not talking about um, let's just show up for our best students. Our parents are not sending their best students at home. They don't keep their best students at home. They send their best every single day. So you must show up to be your best every single day for all learners. Those tier one students, those tier two students, tier three students, right? You must show up and show out. Give a lesson, deliver a lesson that's going to knock it out of the park every single time, keeping those learners on the edge of their seats, hungry for more, right? I want to create an environment where literally students are beating me to the building, can't wait to get into the school because you're being your best self. And they are sad when that dismissal bell rings. Why? Because they don't want to leave, because it's so rich in that environment. So, short answer, because I know we're short on time, but that's what I mean when I say bring your best self. Show up and show out.
I love it, and to each of you, I want you to feel free to jump in on each other's talking points, right? So if someone says something that intrigued you, you want to add to it, you want to question it, whatever it was, just feel free to jump on in there. Let me go to Vicki. Vicki said, creating a climate and culture conducive to student achievement, learning, and high performance of staff, mutual respect among the school community. What are you saying to us on that one, Vicki?
Well, the first thing I did is let me define what those terms mean. Because unless, people use them interchangeably, people think you're talking about the weather. So I went to the New York State Department of Education website. And I'm looking now because I want to make sure I'm reading it properly. All right. The definition of school climate is the overall quality and character of the school environment. It's the attitudes, the behaviors, the experiences of students, teachers, and staff. Now, I'll start with that one. That means that the people we serve decide what the climate is. We don't determine it. We don't at all. We have to understand that it's like going to a restaurant. And what tends to happen is the server think they're doing a good job, but your food is cold. And you puffing yourself up. I'm the best no, baby, you're not the best until your clientele, your population, the community that you serve says that you're doing well. Don't get puffed up.
Yeah.
Let them give you your accolades, but also let them give you your criticisms, and don't take it personal. Now, school culture is the set of common values, beliefs, and tradition that influence how people in the school community, how they act, how they interact with each other. And it's basically those unwritten rules and how things are done behaviorally in the building and what those expectations are. So this is, how does it run, and how does is everybody on the same page? So listen to this. Is the culture a culture of respect or disrespect? Is it of high expectations, low expectations, or no expectations?
Yep.
None whatsoever. Is the leadership cussing folks out? How are we acting? And it's a hierarchy because it starts here with the leadership. We model what we want it to look like. We create. What are people, again, what are they saying about us?
Yeah.
And we have to listen. And we cannot take it personal. And we cannot get offended. Even if it's somebody doesn't like you, sit back and reflect and say, is there any truth in what they're saying? What have I done that made them say that? So we really have to be reflective on our practices as instructional leaders and relationally. We have to care about the school community. And here's the thing, as leaders, we always talk about SEL for the kids, SEL for the kids. Well, baby, what about SEL for the teachers?
Yeah.
Teachers do not do well in a hostile environment.
100%.
They cannot be their best selves if they think we're out to get them.
100%.
Right on.
They need to understand that you may not be doing everything well, but I got your back. It's just like they tell you when you're on an airplane, baby, you got to put that mask on yourself before you can help somebody else.
Yes.
So we
That's
have
right.
to make sure that it's starting with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to the teachers, who are they reflecting? Are they reflecting our practices or themselves? And if they're reflecting our practices, is it the good? Is it the bad? Is it the ugly? So we always have to check ourselves to make sure that we're reflecting, and we want them to see. I've been in schools where the principal and the teachers cussing about the teachers, cussing about the students and their families. I had one school, and I was a teacher at the time, and I was dumbfounded. They said, "Oh, we don't like these kids. My husband is a cop. You can't tell me nothing about these people. We're going to do a 30-minute graduation to get them in and out of our building." What? You think the children and the families don't feel that?
I remember that too. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a news story.
Well, I don't know if
That's not okay. That's not okay. And it is my hope that someone was bold enough to have a courageous conversation with that individual. That's also part of leadership. Have that courageous conversation and be willing. You can't take it personal. You can't take it personal, right? This is about the students that we serve. We are in the business of student customer service first. You should be showing up every day, student focused, ready to make a positive difference in the lives of students daily. And so again, as Principal Kafele has said, put your mirror up. Teachers, if you don't have a mirror in your classroom, get one. Principals, assistant principals, whoever's on the call. I was once an SEL coach as well, Ms. Baxter. I was an SEL coach. And again, I have staff on this thread right now. I've seen their names coming through. I was there for more. I was there more for them than I was for students. They would come to me all the time. "Hey, Mrs. McKinney, this is what I need. This is how I'm doing. What do you suggest?" I would go in the classroom real quick and teach a lesson. I would pull a small group real quick. I was more than just the SEL coach. At the end of the day, I'm still an educator, and I'm going to do right by kids. So send me the group. Where's that group? Let me have that group. Which one are you having the most trouble with? Send them to me. Please sign me up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, AP Baxter.
Yes, sir.
Even though I referenced the time, I just can't go to this next one yet. I got to stay with where you are. I'm on the other side of my camera. I'm someone in the fam who tuned in this week, and I just listened to your comments, and I said, "Ouch." She's talking to and about me. That's somebody on the side of this camera. They have their leadership has adversely impacted the culture of the school. They're looking in the mirror right now saying, "Ouch." So the horse is out the barn. So here's what I want to ask you. After I've become that, AP Baxter, and everyone knows that I've become that, can I reinvent myself in school, or is it too late now? What do you think?
Absolutely. God gives us second chances, third, fourth, fifth, every single day, sometimes every moment, every week, every month, every year. And we have to take advantage. The one thing we do have to do is make sure that whatever happens flows from the top to the bottom. So if we crapping on folks at the top, it's going to hit the teachers, the staff, the students, the families. And when we look down, we're going to have a mess. And when we make the mess, it is, I think I've heard both of you say, it's about being humble.
Yeah.
It's about humility. It's about, you know what? I messed up. And sometimes as leaders, we have to take the responsibility and eat crow and say, you know what? I made that decision, but that wasn't the best decision for our population or for our faculty or or I implemented this initiative and it really didn't work. So we're going to pull it and instead of, and here's the other mistake that we make. We do it ourselves. I heard somebody else say that. Baby, you better delegate. You better get some of these families in, these students in, these teachers in, get their input. Because once it comes to the table, they'll say, okay, so if you are the administrator that has crap from the top and brought it down to the bottom, well, let's go back up to that hill.
Yeah.
All right, let's fix that.
100%.
Let's say, okay, you know what? I did this wrong. Let's redo this. Let's pull some of you who's willing to come in and sit down with me. Who's willing to, let's engage in a different type of conversation. Let's find out what the needs really are. And then let's roll it out. And let's not be a rush to roll something out just for the sake of doing it. Just like I started off, I did something at my listen, I thought the church was going to put me out. I'm telling you, I did a whole apology letter because I knew after I did it, I was like, ooh, I ain't had no business doing that. And we were live on Facebook and on YouTube. So I said, okay, yeah, I'm going. I have to make this right. I have to make it right because our words have so much power as leaders that it can hinder and destroy just with our tongues any type of structure that we're trying to build. And if we don't go back and say, you know what, let me pull back that wrecking ball and fix the pieces that I messed up and just say, you know what, my bad. My bad. And it's okay. And you know what? You gain so much respect from teachers, staff, families, students when you mess up and you're willing to go back and fix it.
Powerful response. Powerful response. Let me go to Elliott. I appreciate that, Vicki. Elliott said, and Elliott, I'm gonna have to read some of yours on my script because StreamYard only gives you 200 characters, and you went a little bit over, no fault of your own. So it says, leading with courage versus leading with fear. As an instructional leader, it is important for personal insecurities to be overcome for the sake of the organization. And then the rest of it said, think playing to win versus playing to lose. Once again, think playing to win versus playing not to lose, right? Let me do it one more time. Think playing to win versus playing not to lose. That's that, in the football language, those of you that know football, quarterbacking, then we call that the game manager, right? They're managing the game as opposed to that one that's in there to lead the effort to win the game. With that being said, what are you saying, Elliott?
I just think that, and it's funny, I actually gave this advice to a friend of mine who also just recently became an assistant principal, and we were talking about this. And I do think that courageous leadership doesn't mean reckless leadership. I want to make that clear. It doesn't mean to be reckless. It doesn't mean to just to have something that's like obviously not thought through and try to force it through, because that's another way a lot of leadership can fail, is it trying to force something through that should be reevaluated, as we were just talking about it a minute ago. But I think that if you come into the building and you're in a leadership position, you got to have that swag. You got to have that confidence. And it's going to look different from everybody. I mean, I like to, in my mind, I walk in the building, I got a song playing in my head. If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear. And then when I'm going to do discipline, I got Stone Cold Steve Austin theme in my head. But that's just me, though. That's just the way I like to do it. but you have to have like you're in a leadership position. You're in the chair, metaphorically speaking. You are in the authority position. Not that that's going to go to your head in terms of arrogance, but you are someone who when stuff happens, as we open this whole thing with, they're looking at you.
Yeah.
You're just the head right to you. What do I do? Teacher comes with an issue. What do I do? Parent comes with an issue. What do I do? The security guard, whomever, they're going to come to you and say, I need something. I need something from you. What do I do? And that's where you have to have the wisdom to not be scared and just say, I don't know, ask somebody else. Or you have to have the wisdom to just say, okay, let's walk it through. Let's talk it out. I need the facts and figures. I need the who, what, where, when, whys. I need the information from you first, so then we can go on. Because you go a long way as a leader when you might not have all the answers, but at least you can give someone the respect to say, I'll help you out with this, and not just brush them off. I heard a story over the summer from a presenter we had from a different vendor, saying that they used to work at a school. When teacher would come up to them, come up to a principal, the principal would literally just put their hand to their face and say, nope, and just walk on by. And to me, that almost reeks of like a insecurity of like, well, I can't help you because I got to get my stuff done. I can't help you because I got to do this. I got to do that. And I understand we all have a loaded plate. Obviously, every day we have a loaded plate. However, I think that we are all, everything we do has to be to win at the end. It has to be for the goal at the end that's before us. Everything has to funnel and filter towards that. And we can't be scared to just to be timid in our leadership. We have to be strong in our leadership and courageous in our leadership to know that everything has to be going that way. Now, if something doesn't work, something goes wrong, then we fix it as best we can. If something needs to be discarded, so be it. But I wanted to also bring into this, because I was thinking about it with what was said before. Community has to collaborate as well. So I think the story was before about like the police. Someone was related to police, or I think that was the story. But that's the thing where it's like you have to have those bridges of connection holistically in the community, because that will also alleviate the fear and insecurity of, well, I want to say this, but this other agency, this other institution will go against me. But if we work together to create the plans together and not be scared of hurting one another, because we're collaborators. So everything has to do, I mean, it's better for us. There's an initiative, there's a goal set from maybe way up top that you have to then do, and you have to then implement, that we have to lead it with courage and not with fear of I might screw up, fear of like who me. No, you're in the seat. You're here for a reason and a purpose, and now it's time to learn how to do it and to play right and to do it the right way, so that in the process we can win. And there's one more thing real quick too, is I love what was said before about who you communicate to, because not everything's for everybody.
Woo.
There's things where it's just like, we will have the faculty meeting, we will have the PLC, we will have the this, the that. And listen, maybe, you know, there's a little side corner two people could go to and just say like, hey, listen, you know, certain things, you know, I'm not sure about this or that, or like, I really don't understand that point, but you know, maybe you have, I hope everyone listening has that person, or at least one person nearby where they can have that confidence in and discuss it with. I hope you do. And if you don't, I mean, we'll try to seek one out as best you can, someone trustworthy, obviously, with that. So, because that will also alleviate your personal insecurities, knowing at least there's one person, just one person who you can have that authenticity, that style of authenticity with.
Might be a thought partner.
There you go.
Might be an accountability partner. You know, this, I keep looking at this first line, leading with courage versus leading with fear. It resonated with me when you sent it to me, and it's been resonating with me since I put it on the screen. And I know where that's coming from. It's coming from what I said before when I almost took over the academy today, a few minutes ago, with my experience. But I got to go back there now. I'll just keep it brief. Superintendent at the time had instituted a program, which I won't be specific here. If I make those videos, I'll put it in there. A program that I knew was detrimental to every student in that building. I knew that. I said, I will not stand by and allow this person to undermine, to sabotage my school, even though I'm working within in a larger organization, meaning a school district. I will not allow that. So when I look at this, it says leading with courage versus, or one might say, or leading with fear. I addressed that head on. I said, I cannot allow this. And for that reason, I'm sitting at a board meeting and it wasn't on the public agenda. So no one in the public knew, nor myself, that I was just transferred involuntarily somewhere else because I was blocking that program from being implemented in that school, right? So, but I can look into this mirror. I'll flip it on myself. I can look in this mirror 20 years later and say, Kafele, you made the right decision. Although I had to go through all the bad media and all that kind of stuff, because looked at differently, I could look at this mirror in 2024 and say, you allowed this dude to undermine. Here you are, you talk about, you read Malcolm, you read King, you read Garvey, you read all these folks. But when you had your Malcolm moment, you walked out. You said nothing. You allowed this stuff to happen at that school. No, I stood up because I'm using your language. I led with courage. And I will never have to look back on them days and say, man, I wish I could have a reset based on what I know now that I didn't know then. Nah, I don't need no reset because I did it right at that time. But now let me not be reckless and careless with the younger folks that are on this platform right now. Am I saying to somebody out there, be me when you disagree? No. Let me say it again. No. Let me say it a little bit louder. No. I'm not saying that because then I would be misusing this platform.
That's right.
I'm just saying to somebody out there that I made a decision that I'm going to lead with courage every day. Even if it costs me my job, my career, my reputation, I'm going to lead with courage and I'll let the chips fall where they may. So I'll close this and give it back to you three by saying this. In life, as much as you want that, like there's certain motivational speakers out here and they'll say, don't have a plan B, a C, a D, a E, put it all in A and make that your life, right? I'm not going to use the platform to debate them, but I will say this. I don't agree with it. I say I understand the logic behind it, but I'm saying have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You just don't know who can be in a situation or in a position to remove from you everything you worked hard for. So if that were to happen, what's your B plan? What's your C plan? So had they taken this from me, the B was in place, y'all. I was ready for that. The board president said at the hearing, Mr. Kafele, you don't speak as someone who's fighting for their job. I got this on video, y'all. I just haven't posted it ever, but one day I will. He said, you're not speaking as someone who's fighting for their job, because I was in there being my authentic me. And my response to him was, because I'm not. Right. But yet that night they voted unanimously. I see Vincent Stallings on here because he sat in the front row and witnessed it at the board meeting. Right. So I'm just saying to somebody here, don't be me, but don't go in there leading with fear either. Lead with courage. Mr. Kafele, you're not speaking as someone who's fighting for their job. Where's my microphone? We'll use this. Because I'm not. My wife's sitting over there. She probably like, he bugging, right? So he too much heat in ARUBA, right? So
She said, that's not how I remember it.
She said, got that right. No, she know that's how. Let me go. Before I say too much. Yolanda, you said stay lit. That's what I am right now. I'm lit.
Lit.
She said stay lit and rich. I ain't rich though, but I'm lit. Right.
You are rich. You are rich. Believe it or not, Principal Kafele, you are rich.
Go ahead, break that down for me.
You're rich. You've been rich for 229 sessions.
Oh man.
Rich.
Oh man.
Responding. You are responding to instruction, cultivating harmony. Okay? So you're rich.
I appreciate that.
And we are rich because of you. But from the lens of an administrator, staying lit, right? We want to make sure we are leaning into your teams. And this has already been shared with both of my counterparts here, but lean into your teams. Right on the screen right now, we're talking about the community. We're talking about at the district level. We're talking about at your school level. You have to stay lit, right? You want to be lit. You want to have those flames just blazing, right? So within that school, lean on those people that are the experts. It's okay not to be the smartest person in the room.
That's right.
You know, we can only do so much, as Ms. Baxter said, right? You can't do it all. You can't juggle all of these balls all at one time and don't think one's gonna fall. Guess what? When it falls, bounce back, right? It's a bubble, it's a rubber ball. It falls, it bounces back, and we gonna keep going. I personally rely a lot on my office staff, right? They are who see me coming and going every day, all day. So, you know, your librarian, right now, currently, we have an awesome librarian. He's a male and he's amazing. You know, teachers, hey, how can we incorporate this and this and this? Well, when those students are going into that library, guess what that librarian is doing? He's talking about those teaks that have to be touched on, and the teachers are able to easily incorporate that into their lessons. My favorite person in the building is the custodian, right? They are the heartbeat of the building, right? Lean in. If you ever need anything, they're going to stop what they're doing. They're going to respond. If something's wrong in the building, something's going, wild and crazy, and you have this person doing this person do that, guess what? I'm going with the custodian. I'm going to grab a bucket too. There is nothing above me or under me at any time. Okay, so I can also do that custodian. Oh, that's not my job. No. You need help with that. You have a spill over here. You have a spill over there. Oh, this kid is doing this. How can I help? Right? If it's going to impact students' learning and number one, safety, how can I help? Right? Those cafeteria workers, they're seeing our students every day, right? So lean into those cafeteria workers. I've had conversations with those conversations with cafeteria workers. Hey, Mrs. McKinney, did you know little Bobby did not have breakfast this morning and he didn't have money on his account? Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Okay, let's monitor that. He don't have money on his account. Let's figure out why, right? Little Bobby's going to go to class and he's going to cut a rug. Again, behavior is communication. The teacher don't know that I already had a conversation with the cafeteria worker about little Bobby not eating breakfast. So I might call little Bobby down to the office and go ahead and come have your snack in my office. And all the people, ooh, Bobby's in trouble. No, he's not. Bobby's been full right now, right? He's getting something in his body so that his mind can focus on what it is that he's going to need to do today. There's so many people, the counselor, your nurse. I mean, I can go on and on and on. They have the resources. You have to be okay without being offended that you're not the smartest person or that you don't have all the answers. It's okay. Lean in on your team. Stay rich, as I said. How are you responding to that instruction? We have to cultivate harmony. All of us, Miss Baxter and Elliott, we can get on here. We can start singing a lovely day. Come on, y'all. Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. We're going to find that harmony. Okay, if we're off, we're going to stop. Hold on, wait a second. Let's figure out what we did, right? So when I say let's respond to that instruction, we've already talked about aiming high and steering low. But now we're going to go on a drive. Everybody ready? Let's buckle up. Put your seatbelt on. It's time to drive. Right? We have that D. We're going on a drive. We are data driven. We've already talked about that. I talked about that moments ago. So go back and just rewind that part. Aside from that data, we are going to be results oriented. What are you doing with the results that you have received?
Yeah.
Don't just sit on them. Don't just check the box and say, oh, that's done. What about those students in question 3 and 4 if you're a model PLC school? What happens with those students that didn't get it? What happens with those students that did get it? Oh, you got it, you're done. You can go do something, go find something to do. No, you need to extend their learning. You need to extend their learning so they can stay rich. You don't want them to fall behind at all. Just because they have it, don't penalize them for it. Deepen their knowledge, right? Let's talk about depth and complexity with those students, right? I is going to be your invigorating instructors. Okay, we have to empower the people that are in front of our students every single day. Empower them to have what they need to be successful, right? So really, really pouring into them and giving them what they seek, what they need. If it's a professional development session that you want to go see at Region 10, let's make it happen. Let's put in a sub, let's have a quality sub come in. The learning don't stop just because you're away. We're going to keep going. Okay, you go learn, but look, your students are going to be okay, and they're going to keep learning. Our V is our vibrant environment. Okay, remember, we're in drive. I'm almost done. Our vibrant environment. Oftentimes, teachers saying, hey, I want to do this room transformation. Sure, we can do a room transformation. What is they going to do? Well, that's going to really hone in on the experience that I want them to have when it comes to understanding whatever the teach may be, right? It's just really having that hands-on learning experience where you have transformed the space that they can't believe this is really my classroom. What do you mean? I get to put on the doctors? I get to dress like a doctor. I put on a mask. I put on gloves to do surgery with text features. Hold on, wait, what? You know, it's more than just a tweak because I'm doing this, right? You want an environment to really feel like I'm getting something out of it. It's not just, oh, let me go to school and here go this worksheet and here go these Chromebooks. Get the kids off the device. Give them their hands-on learning. I'm so grateful that I didn't have Chromebooks when I was coming through school. I am so grateful I had pencil and paper. I am so thankful because nowadays, I'm not saying this happens in my campus, but I know it happens. People have these, students get these Chromebooks and they're doing this, or they have a phone and they're doing this. So it's not that we're saying kids can't write, they can't read. Well, what have you given them? Right? We have to make sure that we are giving them genuine experiences to really hone in on their skills. Then the last one is E. Those are your engaged learners, which is what I'm talking about right now. How are we engaging our students? What tools are we bringing to our students? What field trips are they taking? We want to make sure that they can own their learning. And so when they can own it, again, they're gonna be rich. Right? They're going to be rich because they've done all these things. Our teachers, yes, within our classrooms, they are data driven. They're results oriented. They are these invigorating instructors in front of these kids, and it's everyone. It's not just the teacher of record. Your paraprofessionals, okay, I didn't even mention them. Lean on them too because they help the building go too. What will we do without our paraprofessionals? But they are also instructors, okay? And just be vibrant. You know, I love to see a teacher that is passionate as I am, right? And just keep those learners engaged. That's what I mean when I say stay lit, leaning into your teams, your district, your coordinators, your directors, your specialists, your school board. I invite the school board all the time. Come on now, Mr. School Board. Remember, you're volunteering your time. I would love to see you, right? Have those coaching opportunities. Allow some of your curriculum coaches to come in and model for teachers. They need it. And once they have that model, they now know, oh, this is an exemplar. This is what it's supposed to look like. What I thought I was doing was incorrect. That's not right at all. So lean on them. They're there to support us as well. And then, just like Ms. Baxter just said, the community, your parents, vertically align your students. I'm at the elementary level, but guess what? I want those middle school students to come back. They're going to come back, especially if they have siblings. And I want those high school students to come to the school. I want them to come to those community events. Hi, how you doing? How can I help? Use those members of band, or those students that are in athletics. Let them come and open car doors. Let them see what success looks like.
Mm.
And lastly, invite those community partners in. We recently got an HEB up the street, and everybody's going crazy. I love me some HEB, but they pour in, and so you find all of those people, not just I try not to say names on this platform because there are other people that pour in all the time, but you have partnerships, and they can be so paramount to your success. All you have to do is just go out there and make put a face with a name. Hi, I'm Yolanda McKinney. I'm the assistant principal over at the school nearby. I would love to have your support with XYZ. Oh, how can I help? You have to have those connections to stay lit and rich.
Stay lit and rich. And
Wow.
I appreciate Kenyelle who wrote it out.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.
Is that someone you know?
I don't know her, but hello.
Yeah.
Yes, stay lit.
Yeah, I see Kenyelle on here all the time. Kenyelle
I
Williams.
don't know her. I don't think.
Yeah. So great stuff. Fam out there, I see what time it is. They gave me 3 each. We're gonna cover 2 each. So Yolanda just gave us 2 because we really, through all my preliminary questions, we kind of covered a little bit of everything. So I want to give Vicki one more and Elliott one more, and then we'll wrap up with the BAM impact questions, and then we'll be good. So let me go over to Elliott, and where we at, number 6. Elliott said motivation versus inspiration, how these two are different and how they can both be leveraged for success. Talk to us, Elliott.
Well, this all came from the year 2010, sitting in Principal Kafele's office during my interview. Because he asked me, do you think that part of your role as a teacher is to inspire students? And that has stayed with me to this day. Now, I answered yes. And then we had a further discussion about it. And then I will say one more instance was sitting in front of a principal years later. And I was transferred from high school to middle school. In the district, still as a teacher. And they said, this principal said to me, goes, our students need motivation. How do you think you could do that? And I was like, wow, that's okay, interesting. And I asked for a little more detail to say, like, well, because I wanted to be sure, what did she mean by that, using that word? So I thought through that answer, and in those 2 instances, I've kind of come up with this point here of motivation and inspiration. And I've had this discussion with many people. What I'm going to offer to everybody is that motivation is push, inspiration is pull, meaning that motivation is something outside that's pushing you. Now, both of these things can be good. Don't get me wrong. It's not one is good and one is bad. It's just they are distinct from one another. Motivation is something that's being you push. It's being pushed. So it's something outside that pushes forward. Now think about if you have a gym partner, you want to motivate each other, but that person might likely be making you do something that you do not want to do in that moment. You don't want one more rep. You don't want one more plate. You don't want one more mile. You don't want one more anything. But that person is saying, go, 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 do it, push, right? And you're thankful for that person because maybe they woke you up out of bed and said, I'm outside, come on in the car, let's go. Maybe they did. But then that's one thing, and you can get there. But then inspiration is when you're pulled. You're drawn to something. There's something that's drawing you in. There's something that's getting your attention. There's a goal you have or a picture you have in your mind that's out. It's there. It's out there, somewhere out there. So you're here, but you want to go there. The school is here, but you need to have the school go there. You want the students to start. They start here, but the goal is to get them there. But what is that image that's out there? What is that picture? What is that tangible that's out there? Because you want that thing to be so good and so great that you're just drawn to. It's like a magnet. You're just drawn to it. and it's inspiring you. So you're going to do all you can in your ability to get there, to that place that's over there. And it's tangible, it's reachable. It's just that certain things have to come up like a ladder, rung by rung, has to get out there. So I think the tendency is we use motivation like 90% of the time, and thinking we gotta motivate, which we can, of course we can, and we do when right, but we also have to inspire, because there has to be education is a means to an end. There has to be a purpose for it. I forget how that came up earlier, a purpose in the learning that has to be put out there so that you can move towards that. So I think both of these things can be leveraged. Both of these things can be used for success. But the wise leader has to know when to play the right hand and when to do things right. It's that's part of authority. Think of like the presidential seal. The eagle has an olive branch in one hand and the arrows in the other hand, and you got to know which one to use in which time, in which situation, which circumstance. So it's motivation and inspiration. Both can be used, but you have to know when one is in the right context and when the other is in the right context, and how both those things can work together for success.
I love it. And I'll just say to the fam as I transition to Vicki, and I see I went out of sequence, but that's okay. But to the fam out there, motivation, inspiration. The question to the fam out there, I just want you all to just reflect. Here's the mirror. What is it about my leadership that, and I'll use both words. What is it about my leadership that does motivate? What is it about my leadership that is motivating, right? And I didn't necessarily say, what is it about you, the leader? I said your leadership. Those of you who are with us on a regular basis, you know I always make that distinction between leader and leadership, right? What is it about your leadership that motivates? But then looked at on the other side of the coin, what is it about your leadership that inspires, right? What is it about your leadership that is inspiring? What is it about your leadership that is inspirational? That matters. And I would dare, I'll let that be the homework assignment this week. You know, as you look at you, as you reflect on you, and let me put emphasis on that inspired side. Look at yourself. You know, you got the weekend now before you go back. Is there something inspiring about my leadership? Is there something about my leadership that inspires others, staff, student, parents, community? Is there something about my leadership that is inspirational? I am not asking you, are you charismatic? Right. That's not even, that ain't part of this conversation.
It's important.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's important.
Because someone could hear that, see different charismatic speakers and think, I don't have that quality. No. You don't have to be charismatic in terms of how we typically look at that word. I'm just saying, is there something about who you are that's inspirational? And there is the charisma. You don't have to be that fiery speaker that you see on YouTube. You can be your authentic self that may be very reserved and laid back and quiet, but still that's charismatic to somebody. You gotta look at y'all. Thank you for that. You gotta look at y'all, folks, and ask yourselves those questions. It matters. If you don't have a mirror, get the one that Yolanda has. This is just my emergency joint. But get yourself a mirror and use it symbolically to engage in that ongoing self-reflection, self-assessment, self-adjustment, and self-improvement, while never losing sight of your self-preservation and your self-care.
Say that.
More. Appreciate you. Let's go where we at. Vicki said, developing efficient and effective systems, getting everyone on the same page. That is important. That word systems. What are you telling us?
Well, first I want to say preach, Principal Kafele. Now let's start right there. Just go ahead and preach.
Right.
And I think because our school systems are, in many places, they're like their own societies, their own little mini cities. They have so many moving parts. And I remember when I was getting this position, I met with the superintendent of schools because she is the third layer. We have first panel, second panel. You make it past the second, you meet with the superintendent. And one of the things I remember telling her from my first position that I was only there temporary was, she said, "What was the biggest challenge?" I said, "The biggest challenge is creating a system and having people follow it. Because they'll tell you in a minute, we ain't never did it like that. That's not the way we do it here." But even before then, you always have to sit back and watch and see, how do things run? If it's not broke, no need trying to fix it. Just trying to say you've done something, that's a waste of time.
Right.
But it's like, and as a tendency, we just feel like we have to do it all as leaders. That's just our tendency. Let me fix it. And then nothing gets done because we start and then we never finish. And that's definitely not efficient. So I know at the first school, I was charged with doing the schedules for the aides and assistants. There's like, we don't need that. We don't need a schedule. We just follow the students. No, baby, you need a schedule. Because number one, I need to know where you are if I need you.
That's right.
And then you need to know where you're supposed to be, so the students are getting what they need to get. And we're just not going to keep doing stuff all willy-nilly anymore. It was challenging in the beginning because I didn't come into that first situation until really January. So they had done almost half a year the way they wanted to do it. But by the end of the year, they were asking for their schedule. When I left, they like, we don't have schedules anymore. They said, this place don't want to, I'm not going to use the words that they used, because creating systems are difficult.
Yeah.
It's not easy. But with a system, because there's two parts to this. Once you get the system, everybody got to know what the system is. What we're doing currently in our building, because we have so many moving parts. We have the academic part. We have the CTE, the career technology education piece. Our building has 3 garages where our students, people pull their cars in. We have the lifts. We do all the work. We have 2 welding shops, full welding shops. We get the metal come in. We got the curtains. We got everything. And then we have our two machines, and they all have their own way of doing things. Then we have the academic piece. Okay, we're having this speaker come in. We're having this field trip. We would come in some days, and they say, "Oh, our field trip is a day." We like, what field trip? Who's going on the field trip? So one of the things that I said, we have to work on this. And I was telling the teachers last year, I said, we got to work on this, because teachers will be marking students absent because they were on a field trip that they never knew about.
Right.
So one of the things I said this year, I said, this year I want to get us on the same page. I said, how many of you had scheduled a test only to find out that a whole group of students are going to miss the test because they're on a field trip? A whole bunch of hands went up. The cafeteria manager would be livid, absolutely livid. Y'all took 100 kids out of this building and didn't say anything, and we have made all this food that we have to now talk.
Right.
Engineer, security.
Yeah.
Y'all doing a presentation. Y'all need us to move some furniture. Well, you can't wait till the last minute. So one of the things was the teachers agreed that, yes, we definitely need to do something. I sent out a template. Tell me what you think. What would you like to add? Because sometimes we don't know what it should look like. We need somebody to give us a vision. And once we see it, oh, I need you to add this. I need you to add that, which is what I ended up. This is my idea. I need y'all to give me some feedback. Give me some. I am a firm believer. We need more than one brain and one set of hands and set of feet, because we can't do it alone. So the teachers have bought into the fact that if this is going to make our lives easier, if it's going to help us work better with one another, oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. And then when they finally see the benefit, they're like, okay, well, let's keep this moving. Now, here's the next problem. And that's what they do. Here's another problem, Ms. Baxter. What can we do about this? I said, baby, I can't do it all at once. We'll put that off for next year or later on in the year. We just started the school year. But yeah,
what you say to them, Ms. Baxter, is how about we invest in? You don't have to worry about them buying in because they can sell out. But it sounds like you have a strong foundation where they can make investments. And so when the next thing come up, we can say, okay, let's look into this pot. Yes. So you're right on. You're right on. Investment.
And what it also does, it builds trust.
Yes.
And again, I'll say that's street credibility, because they know you're going to start something and you're going to follow it through. And that's all we need. That's all we need.
That's good stuff.
I love it. You know, I gotta put this back up. The Lone Chef said top 5 greatest episodes. It keeps getting better.
Thank you.
And you know, even though the Lone Chef said that, it's not the only one. There's been a lot of comments like that. So now I have to, in my quiet time, I have to figure out, what is it about this session that is resonating with some? Like right now, there's just about 900 people on here real time. That's not normal 3 hours in, right? So what is it about this session that the numbers, you know, usually this late they're starting to decrease, not go up to 900. You know, so that tells me, I haven't seen the total number. I won't see that till we go off. But we must be somewhere in the like 5,000 or so that have been in and out of here since we've been on, you know. So yeah, because everybody's not gonna stay on the whole time, but people come in, get what they can, and they'll watch the video later, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm proud of the three of you of bringing so much fire, because so many people, it's just resonating with so many people, right? So let's go to the BAM impact questions. Sure, you're familiar. These are just rapid fire. One sentence or one word answer. If you find yourself inserting the comma too long, I might come on and say too long, right? So just this is quick. We give each of you 7 questions. So I'll start with Yolanda. Is education on the right path for underserved children?
We're getting there.
Where we at? Can true equity occur? Let me stay focused. Can true equity occur in America's schools for Black, brown, and other underserved students?
It can, with the right people in the room.
Does Yolanda McKinney's work contribute to the progress we desperately need?
Yes, absolutely.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
It would be different.
Oh, okay, that's a different response. Why do you continue to do this work?
I continue to do this work, as mentioned in my bio, because of my 4 children, Nia, Nylan, Nala, Nicholas Jr., who's at those different levels. I see where we are, and I know where we can be.
What fires you up within the work that you do?
The impact.
What do you absolutely love about this work?
The impact.
Vicki, what do you dislike about the work you do?
The bureaucracy.
What has been your greatest victory in your work thus far?
The fact that I made it here to make a difference.
What has been your greatest mistake in your work thus far?
Lord, there's so many.
What has been your greatest challenge in this work thus far?
Getting people to get to know me, to know my heart,
Mm.
to know I'm for them.
Are you proud of your first year? It is almost not a relevant question for you, but are you proud of your first year as an assistant principal? So I guess we go back to that half year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In hindsight, do you have any regrets about your first year?
Nothing. Not a one.
Who inspires you in the work you do?
You do. I have all your books.
Oh man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Then that means you gotta get that new one that's coming out.
Oh, I'm waiting to pre. That's I see.
Well,
I
look at
left mine
Yolanda.
at home.
Yolanda got them all. Look at
Come
that.
on
Man,
now.
I'm humbled by that. I'm humbled by that, man. Oh my God. Elliot, here we go. Bring it home. What are you reading right now? It doesn't have to be a book. It could be an article, a blog, a tweet, anything.
Reading right now. The book is about it's called The Ticket Out. It's about Darryl Strawberry and the boys of Crenshaw coming to the major leagues.
Oh, that sounds like something I need to read. What book do you recommend for our viewers this afternoon?
I'm gonna say, aside from a Kafele book, which absolutely 100%, and that's not because I'm on it right now, but it's because it's the truth. I'm gonna go with a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Yeah, good stuff. I know his daughter. She's in the space now too. Let's go. Where we at? What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet?
Create a club or some type of group for boys specifically at my school so they can understand what leadership and community is.
Good stuff. Are you satisfied with where you are professionally?
Right now, yes, I am. Absolutely.
What could you say to a viewer out there who continues to face closed doors?
There's going to be another one that opens. It just might not be the right one for you. But if you have stepped into this space, trust God.
Trust God. What can you say to a viewer out there who's lost their fire?
Think about why you started in the first place, and also have a person next to you that you can talk to about it. Again, inspiration versus motivation.
And finally, if Elliot Johnson was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Helper.
If Yolanda McKinney was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Goal getter.
And if Vicki Baxter was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Encourager.
Love it, love it. To the fam out there, first to the fam that's truly fam, give us your applause by way of your favorite emojis. If this resonated with you, if you enjoyed it, if it was useful, if it was beneficial, if you heard something you could incorporate into your practice, give us those emojis. I know you already started, so keep it coming. Those of you who are new to the platform, that's how we applaud our guests. Just put your favorite emojis up, and that way, that's how we let them know that this was good stuff. So I see it's already been coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. While we right here, 900 folks on here. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. That's in terms of real time, folks. Folks who've been in and out of here, I'll see the number in about a few minutes. It's probably somewhere around 5,000 with the four platforms combined, maybe even more. But yeah, keep them coming. I see it. And I want to say to my guests now, to Yolanda, Vicki, and Elliot, I appreciate you immensely. You made 229 another powerful session. I just love this platform so much. I haven't missed a week yet. I'm here on vacation. I'm in Aruba, man. But I don't shut this down when I'm away from home. If I'm away from home, then the AP and New Principals Academy comes along with me, right? That's how we do it. So with that being said, I know that I don't think the three of you are in the consulting business yet. Maybe Vicki, you are to some extent. I'm not sure. But if not, then how do the folks, if they just want to follow you on social media, get in touch with you? I don't know if you don't have to put your email out there if you don't want, because there's a lot of people on here. You might be bombarded. But but if you want to, that's on you. But how do they reach you? Social media, that type of thing. And if you are someone who may speak one day, present, then how do they book you? Right? How do they get in touch with you? We'll start with Yolanda.
Yes, so if you guys want to get in contact with me on all social media platforms, I am at Mrs. Yolanda McKinn. That's at Mrs. MRSYOLANDA That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Good stuff. Vicki.
I'm gonna do something probably kind of not usual. First, I can be found on Facebook at Vicki Gallman Baxter, VICKI Gallman, GALLMAN, Baxter, BAXTER. My email is vicbax@gmail, VICKBAX@gmail. And I'm going to give you my building's phone number. Burgard High School, Buffalo, New York. Go Bulldogs. Their phone number is 716-816-4450. I spend so much time here. I can probably get a answer or a call from here quicker than I do at home.
Wow. I hear that. I hear that. Elliott.
Yeah, you can find me. So Instagram is John _Ellie, JOHN_ELLI. Also on LinkedIn and Facebook. I use the same profile pic for all social media and even my own work email as well. So it's the thumbnail of this very episode right here. So if you're looking for the right Elliott Johnson, it's the guy with I got like a tan suit on. It was a nice wedding picture. So you see me right there. That's me right there.
Love it. And by the way, let me just go to Dr. Rella Hicks get some water. Much success to you, Doc, on that interview. If it's for an AP or a principal position, I'm assuming that you're aware of the playlist that I have on the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel called Thoughts to Consider for the Assistant Principal Job Interview,
yep.
and the Thoughts to Consider for the Principal Job Interview. So I would strongly encourage you to take a look at those videos. If you haven't already, you probably have. But if you haven't, take a look at those before you go to that interview, because it's thousands of administrators in America, I'm going to be frank with you, who are in these positions because they've watched these videos. How do I know? Because that's the number of calls I've gotten or emails or whatever it is to say to me, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that immensely. So that brings us to the end, folks. Let me say to everybody, I appreciate you all stay on even when I go offline, so we can wrap offline. But I appreciate all of you for being here for week 229, powerful session. Now I want to invite you to week number 230, which is next Saturday, if I could find my right notes. Hey, I got them all scrambled up here. I don't even know where it's at, where we at. Why are my notes? Oh, here it is. So week number 230, join me next Saturday. I'll be home, I think, right? But we got 3 guests coming on. We got Dr. Joe Griffin from out in California, longtime principal. We got Tarina Cox Jones, who is soon Dr. Tarina Cox Jones. She's a Black Educators Rock fam of ours, and she'll have that doctorate real soon, but she's a principal for a long time. I don't have a topic yet. I'll come up with it later. And we got my man, Hayward John, from out in Orangeburg, South Carolina. You know Hayward?
Yes.
Yeah, South Carolina. He'll be on and bringing his, we talking about charisma. He bringing his charismatic self. So we'll have the 3 of them on, and we're gonna have a good time as we did today. So join us next Saturday for week number 230. Every Saturday morning, Facebook Live, 10 o'clock, Sean Hurt, followed by Create and Educate, 10:30, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, followed by myself at 10:55, and then Sunday night, 7 o'clock, PDP podcast with Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno. I should say Moreno, right? You know my books, so make sure that you get yourself a copy if you don't have it yet. In fact, we're going to put them books right up on here. Where we at? Order those books. Get them. You can go right to Amazon and get yourself a copy, and then be on the lookout for the new one that's coming in December. What is my value instructionally to the teachers that I supervise? Make sure you like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. I'm going to write that commentary tomorrow morning, hopefully before I fly, if not while I'm flying. But make sure that you read those. They just complement the Saturday session. Visit principalkafele.com for all my resources. Everything on there is free except the books. So check it out. And then your diet. Make sure you're eating right. Your exercise. Make sure you're getting it in. Let me tell y'all something. I've been here since Sunday. And beginning, did I come here Sunday? Yeah, so I've been here since Sunday. So beginning Monday, I've been in that fitness room every day. I told y'all I was going to do 3 miles a day, and that's exactly what I did every day. In fact, one of them days I did 4 miles, but then I said to myself, I ain't doing 4 no more. I'm here to take it down. I ain't here to act like I'm going to the Olympics. So we went back down to 3, right? So I've been doing it every day. I'm taking today off, and we'll be back at it on Monday when I'm home, and then I'm back on the road doing this work on Tuesday. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. And then those virus precautions, whatever that means to you, I don't want to be on here prescribing stuff, but just whatever that means, take care of yourself, because there's a lot of sickness out here, a lot of disease out here, a lot of stuff to contend with. So make sure that you're taking care of you. But other than that, folks, I appreciate you being here. I want y'all to have a great week. I want you to have an extraordinary week. I want you to have your best week yet. And then I'll see you all next Saturday. So as I close it out, peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist all the way back. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam! There it is. See, fam knows that. When I bring on a lot of these other guests, they don't know what I'm doing, right? But y'all know the routine, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I see, hey fam, I see you next week. Y'all stay on.